Hello and welcome to Oulton Park for the next round of the EERC British Touring Car Championship of 2023. My name is Edward Hunter. Alongside me, as ever, is broadcast director Nick Homewood. So here we are then for, this must be round 7 then? Because I keep losing track of the rounds that have been cancelled and stuff.
Technically, it's round 8, but we had craft that was rescheduled. So, I don't know, I've lost track of it.
I got it right. It is round 7 then.
Okay. There's 2 races left after this one.
Okay, fair enough. So, but anyway, we're nearing the back end of the season then, Nick. We've seen some great racing. My team in particular, Hunter Birch Simulation, has seen a lot of turnover when it comes to drivers, unfortunately. We even had a driver who was supposed to take part today, and then a few days ago his wheel decided to pack up on him and just kept sort of auto-cycling, or whatever it's called. So so he couldn't. That was unfortunately Sean Leyland, who's been waiting for what feels like most of the season to get a go in the car, finally gets a free spot, and then because Chris Hood decided he prefers the front-wheel drive car, which is fair enough, and it's good to see Chris Hood being a bit more competitive in the practice sessions here. He was sort of saying, he put a screenshot of him with a 125 topping the session early on and said, this is why Chris Hood is the best driver ever. And I said, well, why couldn't you do that in the Infinity then? Best driver ever, but only when he's not driving for Ed.
Well, yeah, we've got the new car balance as well after
that's good.
After the devs managed to break the cars for the previous rounds, so everyone's on equal footing. The Hyundai and the Toyota don't have a power advantage anymore.
So let's remind ourselves of the point standings then, because although there's no push to pass anymore, so there's no advantage for, like you say, for the Hyundais or the Toyotas. We still got the ballast from the championship, of course, with Louis Hartley still leading at the moment on 214 points, 75 kilograms to his name, and on his car as well, more importantly. Chris English second for gravel trap racing, 181 points, so that puts him about 33 behind. So there was a 20-point gap going into East London, and Louis Hartley's extended out just a little bit. 66 kilograms of ballast in Chris English's gravel trap car is the Focus, of course. Oh, Benton in the other gravel trap Focus, 169 points. So he's about, about 12 points behind Chris' teammate Chris English. He's on 57 kilograms in the back. Roy Seifert for King's Dealer Racing on 10 points further back, 159. He's got 48 kilograms in the back. Mia Rose, who's quit, is in 5th on 112 points. Remco de Zoo, who hasn't quit, thankfully, on 110 points. He's got 33 kilograms in the back. Oh, what's happened?
There's a bit of a spin there.
Oh dear. That looks like Maximilian Petravki for Live Speed. Great to see them back from the first season, because we haven't really seen a whole lot of Maximilian this year.
Yep. It's his first run in this season.
Of course, yeah, so we start the season at the back end of 22, of course, so great. Hopefully Max Petravki can, with no ballast, of course, having his first run out here, can certainly pull a couple of surprises. Let's see what else is going on in the championship. So Remco de Zoo, 110 points. He's got 33 kilograms. So of all the sort of title contenders or near title contenders, he's probably got the least ballast. Him and Andy Simmons have got the least ballast to worry about. Andy Simmons in the third gravel trap, 107 points, 27 kilograms. He's got to deal with Matt Richards, who joined very recently to the championship, has won a couple of races in a row, consistently on the podium, 99 points.
Not here today, though.
Not here today, okay, so don't worry about Matt Richards. But then in 9th, we've got Scott Sovic, 99, also on 99 points in his independent Bowlers Esports car, 15 kilograms. And finally, rounding out the top 10, we've got Jack Vermeulen on 97 points. He's got 9 kilograms, just a measly 9 in his logistical nightmare car.
Yeah, unfortunately, quite a lot of those people have not been able to make it today, but we've still got a fairly decent grid, so we'll still have some good racing.
Great to see Miro still in 5th, despite the fact that he's quit, like at least 3 or 4 rounds ago.
They were a dominant couple of races.
Yeah, shame. In the teams championship, by the way, things look much clearer in terms of gravel trap leading on 457 points, ahead of Hunter Bet Simulation on 337. So that is a 120-point lead, if I'm not mistaken.
Fantastic.
Hello, Josh.
Oh, and Joshua Birch, co-owner of Hunter Birch Simulation, hence the name, has joined us now in the commentary box there. The good news is, big gap to Finavon Motorsport Green, which is Louis Hartley's team, I believe. So he may be leading the... Or is it?
It is, and Mario.
And Mario Valencia, of course. Who is Mario here?
He is.
Oh, that's good because he's been away for a while. So it's mainly Louis Hartley trying to fight for the team's championship on his own. But that puts Finn on green 281, although they've got a car less than Hunterburt Simulation. So that's the big thing. Gravel Trap, Hunterburt both got 3 cars in the fight. Didn't look like we were going to have 3 cars today, but thankfully 10 Lure volunteered at the last minute, literally about an hour before the race was due to start, said, "Oh, I'll give it a go then. What race do you want to put the options on? Oh, that one. Okay, you're in." It really is that simple sometimes.
Just about works then having him in, but yeah, get him in. See what we're gonna do.
So definitely a race to Hunterburt Simulation need to strike back, and certainly Remco Dizou and Loic Moynier, who have both had their moments, have been doing a lot of practice. So hopefully they can get back on song with Chris English and company.
Move to Collie now. Collie's now slightly longer. Well,
so anyway, Josh, since you joined us, tell us a little bit about this Oulton Park Circuit in Cheshire. It's in the sort of the Midlands, isn't it? Or...
Yes, just about, and it's a very abrasive circuit, and it's a very fast, demanding circuit as well. We always see some great touring car races, as Nick well knows, having joined in the commentary box for a couple of them we've done. We often see a lot of large accidents here, especially at the start of a race one when all the field is bunched up as well. Turn 3 here, which is the first left hand on the circuit. It always provides accidents. Are we using the island bend or are we using the full circuit?
We're using the island track today.
The island bend.
Yeah, so just after I believe Lakeside, there's a hairpin rather than going all the way to
there it is.
The Shell Oils corner, as it used to be called.
Yeah, this little hairpin here, we always see some barging and drivers trying to go on the outside because it gives you such a great run over the top here as you come down towards the chicane of Knickerbrook. So it's absolutely fantastic. And I do love Oulton Park, but if you do have a touring car race here, which is usually around about the halfway stage of the season, you have to clear quite a lot of time either side because there's always drama, and it is one of the longest touring car circuits on the calendar.
Yeah, and we're watching Alessandro Valente warming up for his qualifying lap now. Former Hunterburt Simulation driver, now drives for Scuderia Muraria Blossom, I believe. And so that's the Hyundai, if I'm not mistaken.
It is the Hyundai, and you can see they're running their special chicken nugget livery after losing that bet.
Of course, yes. The infamous... so it's the old Irish team, effectively.
Yeah.
So we've got this weird situation where we've effectively, Loic Moynier and Alessandro Valente have swapped around, if I'm not mistaken, because Loic Moynier was sort of the team principal and still is of that squad. And so we led to some interesting scenarios where Matt Richards and Loic Moynier were just fighting each other, despite Matt Richards driving for Loic's team. But anyway, definitely after Valente's recent performance in East London, where he's on the podium again, let's not forget, he's certainly shown what he can do. So got to think for next season, we might want to get Alessandro, who's a good friend of the team still. He didn't leave because we fell out with him, as we see him just go through that hairpin there. He left because he basically wasn't available. Now he is available. He's driving for the other team because we've had to fill with other drivers.
Front-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive as well.
That's very true. And Chris Hood, and a great example of someone who's much better in the front-wheel drive car. Although Valente was part of the decision to use the rear-wheel drive. He could have easily said front-wheel drive at the pre-season. But I think that was the consequence of using the Subaru last season and it working so well. But anyway, Valente, in the middle of his qualifying lap through the fast sweeping middle sector. And of course, because he's first on track, he sets purple times here.
That deer leap as well, the last corner, which you jump up the hill at as well. It gives you quite a little knock, doesn't it? You really do feel all 4 wheels off the road when you jump over it, so it's fun.
Ooh, a bit on the grass there.
There we go. A little bit of a messy end, but what time is this going to be as he crosses the line? It's going to be a... Let's see, he crosses it now. 124. 124.3. So about 9/10 out of 10 Lure, who's done pretty much no practice in the Hunterburt Simulation Infinity Q50. So I think that's pretty good for a first go from Lure.
That's Hartley got
let's not
second.
forget one in Anglesey. Louis Hartley, for Finnerbond, with all that ballast, the max ballast at 75 kilograms, is only about half a second away from Valente's time there. So that's not too bad.
Since the server's been up as well, Mario Valencia's done a 1:23.574. That was in the practice as well, so that's the lap time to beat. Going on a 1:24.357. That's come down now as Benton goes top with a one. Is that 1:23?
8.9.
8.97, yes.
Yeah, there we go.
So a good lap there by Carl Benton, of course, another driver who has all 3 of the gravel traps have won at various points this season, but Chris English is very much the title favourite. It's him and Benton really sort of only about 12 points apart from one another in the driver's standings. But certainly, you've got to say, I've Chris English's first lap, not that great. 5 seconds off the pace.
I think he made an error. I see on the logs he had an off track.
So I'm just trying to look see because I swear I saw. I swear I saw something from Chris English that because he was struggling a lot at East London, which was surprising. He was sort of recovering in the races, so he didn't lose too much to Louis Hartley in the end. But certainly, we'd thought after Rockingham, where they did really well, that Chris English was going to really close in, and he's set a purple first sector here, according to the on graphic.
Turn off the auto
Chris
director.
The turncoat, Chris Hood, to come back to Scuderia Marere, and into the top 5 there from Chris Hood. So very, very good lap by the
What
Englishman.
about English?
Here's the other Chris, Mr. English. Crosses the line, goes 6th fastest, just behind Chris Hood, I believe.
Well, it was a fine lap, but it sure ain't no pole, English.
Yeah, you sound vaguely Irish when you say that.
I go down that route, I suppose, sometimes. But this is looking quite good.
Too much curb.
Yeah, and English going very wide onto the green stuff there, the AstroTurf at Oulton Park. And it is an interesting kind of circuit, Oulton, because obviously it's situated in the trees. It's got a fair bit of undulation, and it's a very, very unique challenge, especially in the touring car calendar.
It feels like Mid-Ohio, to be fair. That type of circuit as well in America. You get the sort of woodland trees alongside it. It is a very unusual circuit to have in Britain because it feels like an American track. It's weird.
He does, as we see Chris English, he's bled away time in that first sector there. I'm trying to look through his tweets to see what he's been doing this week in terms of practice.
Yeah.
He says something about DayZ, which I believe is the tank game.
Yes.
exactly.
Oh, that's not the line.
Well, that's not the ideal end to the lap there. Still 9 minutes left then for Chris English to get back out and get back on song with Louis Hartley, who's now gone top of the times. Narrowly beating Mario Valencia. So this is great for Finavond Green. 1-2 at the moment. 23.648 for Louis Hartley. 23.674 for Mario Valencia. We saw Mario Valencia putting some cracking qualifying laps earlier in the season. And now him and Louis Hartley have clearly done their homework with that Hyundai, even with all the push to Pascal. And that Hyundai seemed pretty quick down the straights.
Well, I'm an idiot because I was wondering why am I sounding so low on my left ear? And I looked down to realise that I've got a left and right input on the mic channels, and the left was at the bottom. So I haven't got my levels right. But I'll tell you what is worrying me, guys, as well. I've got a brand new heater in the garage because otherwise I'll freeze to death. But it's not. I can't feel it on my feet, and yet the box is getting warmer. How do you explain that? I can't feel it.
I
but
think
it's
you
getting
need
hotter.
some of the special socks that I got for Christmas. The sort of
you
insulation socks. Yeah.
You said that back in Syria.
I might have just randomly mentioned it at one point, yeah.
Not
Anyway,
Syria, Mexico.
Mexico, yeah, I wasn't in Syria for obvious reasons.
Yes.
But anyway, Valente now goes into the top 4 and just beats Remco de Zoo, who I was just about to praise, so thanks for that, Alessandro. But Mario Valencia sets a purple first sector. Yeah, about... 32.284, which is about 2/10 faster than Louis Hartley's personal best that he's just set.
And look at the gap between them actually on the
Carl
timing
Benson
screens.
sets the fastest second sector, 27.633.
Yeah, Hartley and Valencia separated by
this is-
26 thousandths.
This is really a three-way fight for pole, and potentially Valente could get involved in this as well, I think. But let's see.
Bit wide
End of
there.
lap.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's really going to hurt Mario Valencia, pushing as hard as he can. Look at this braking zone as well, how much they're bobbing up and down, going into, I think that's just the beginning of Sector 3, isn't it?
Yeah, very rough.
Anyway, here comes Valencia across the line, and it's provisional pole position then, 1.62 ahead of Louis Hartley. So Hartley, that's not ideal. The championship leader, he wants to start as far up as possible, especially because Louis Hartley
Are
is
we
one of the
live?
drivers.
Yeah,
Ooh.
we're on a. We've had some issues. We're on a different channel today.
I see.
Yeah, they couldn't log in to the EERC channel because they've lost their details again.
No,
But
it's-
anyway,
We've lost the authentication method.
I lost
the
that thing
2FA,
always.
there we go.
Yeah.
So, Josh, this is not an ideal situation for Finavond Green because they've got Mario Valencia, who's way down in the championship, outside the top 10, I believe. And they've got Louis Hartley, who's leading it now second. So if Hartley gets held up by Valencia, and Hartley has got the softer tyres in use for the race, I'm not sure if Valencia is using them in
They
race
both
one.
have them in race 1, yeah.
Okay, well that makes things even more interesting because I think Carl Benton will be hoping these two squabble away, even though Gravel Trap are saving theirs till race 2, all three of them.
It's going to be a bit of a worry then in race 1 as the soft tyres around this track are going to be, going off the cliff incredibly early.
Yeah,
So.
Chris English improves only to 8th. He's sandwiched by the Hunter Birch simulation drivers of Desiu and Moynier. So,
Desiu doing a better lap time, wasn't he? First sector was 32.321.
yeah, but English certainly doing better than Andy Simmons, who's not actually on the qualifying grid. So we've only got 14 drivers.
50-50 whether he would turn up, apparently.
Okay, well, we've actually, the heavens above, Josh, we've gone from thinking we'd be one driver less than Gravel
As
Trap.
Loic
We've got
goes
one driver
third.
better. There we go. Even more better news. Loic Mounier squeezes into third position ahead of Carl Benton, which is great news, and only 0.017 behind Louis Hartley, championship leader. So that's a brilliant final sector from Moinier, 23.4. As Chris English is really pushing to try and keep everyone in sight, isn't he?
Top 10 separated by less than a second.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
This is insane. Look at that. I'm just looking at the timing screen. You're right. What was it? 0.941 between them all. 8-2 the gap at the front. Hartley and Mounier are very close together. 17,000 separating them. 17,000 separating Benton and Desiu as well.
Lure up to 8th, as English is on a much better lap here.
Yeah, here he is.
Yeah, Chris English can get himself firmly into the top 10. He goes into top 6. There we go, just ahead of Alessandro Valente, who was on a better lap and had a really bad final sector. So I assume Valente got held up there. But that's a 23.9 then for Chris English. Here comes Louis Hartley on an outlap, preparing in that big Scottish Saltier liveried fin of Ond. Which is very distinct from Valencia's, which has got the Spanish flag on the top. And that's off track completely at the first corner there. And that is really the big trouble with that's Old Hall Corner, of course, where if you come in carrying way too much speed from all the way from Lodge Corner through D Elite through the start-finish line into that first corner, then you're just going wide, aren't you?
They're pretty much even on the track, Louis and Mario.
Of course, because it's a private session, of course. And there we go, threading between the barriers goes Valencia. And you got to say, he's looking good for his first pole of the season. Oh, as he lifts the wheel as well. And helped, of course, with the ballast situation. He's got 0 ballast, whereas Louis got all the ballast.
This is looking a lot better. Fastest middle sector now as well. This is getting tense.
And the big question is, if Gravel Trap have a really bad weekend, and if Hunter Birch have a sort of okay weekend, can Fin of On Green get themselves back into the team's championship?
Benton.
Yeah, Benton's gone fastest of all across every class.
Scratch that then.
Well,
But there we
hang
go.
on.
0.044 then is the lead that Carl Benton has in this qualifying
Mario
session with
didn't
3 minutes
improve.
left to go. So, there we go. Mario Valencia pushing it a little bit too hard, lifting the wheels.
Yeah.
A pole is now starting to go into the hands of Carl Benton, who's been very, very impressive. Certainly the most impressive of the Gravel Trap drivers.
This is interesting. Just looking at the top 3 best lappers, Louis Hartley goes third and retakes third fastest overall. Since the serve has been up, Valencia's lap time of a 1:23.466 was the top time. That's now been beaten by Benton, who's taken pole. That's a 1:23.422. But Valencia had a top speed of 213.7 mile per hour, whereas Benton's top speed was 204 mile per hour, as English is locked up down at the hairpin.
Oh, big mistake then from English. Gets it very wrong. The wheels on the grass there. And that, I think, really illustrates, Josh, the ballast, the amount of difference it makes for on your top speed. With Mario Valencia
couldn't
really
stop.
benefiting.
Yeah, could
But
not
Louis
stop.
Hartley, to be fair, only about 2 miles per hour slower, despite the fact that he's got much more ballast than Mario Valencia. As Valente, once again, splits the Hunter Birch simulation drivers. And you got to think, oh, if only he was still in one of those cars. But still, Lua still just holding on in the top 10, just behind Chris Hood. So it wouldn't be too different if Chris was still in the car.
The top 2 are both in the pits. I don't know if they'll get another go.
1:48.
Yeah.
They'd have to be
No,
going
they're
out
not.
now.
No, they're not, are they? No.
Oh, Mario is.
Okay.
Mario
Benton,
Valencia,
pits.
purple middle sector then.
Benton
let's
happy
see.
with his time.
And Chris Hood is not going out either. He's still in the pits.
As is Studniarek and Ziola.
So they're done. They're done. Although, Ed, just quickly, speaking of the EERC with the Formula E, do you remember we did the Formula E Zone show, and we had the situation where are one of our favourite drivers as well, with Giuliano. He was reading the track map backwards. And
yes.
I got availably
Oh,
Dick will say.
Hyderabad, yes,
Yeah.
that did make it into the show. As Louis Hartley once again
brilliant.
goes a little bit wide at turn 1.
Petrafty's gone and got himself disqualified.
Oh, well, a triumphant return for Maximilian Petrafsky then, and Live Speed. Look at this. Great lap from Alessandro Valente, and only just behind Louis Hartley by 0.02 thousandths of a second there. So crucial lap here for Louis Hartley.
And English is at fastest first sector of anybody he's 10 thousandths quicker than Benton.
Oh dear, so there's a lot of potential in that gravel track. This is crucial for Chris English then. 32.090 in the first sector, as you say, Josh. But meanwhile, let's keep just a half an eye on Louis Hartley as well.
There's Valente fourth. Look at that gap.
Yeah, I was just commenting on that. 27.8, personal best for Chris English in the second sector. Now just the final sector to go then.
He'll get another
Downhill,
lap.
back uphill, into the start-finish. Straight we go. He will get another lap here. What time? Where's this going to put him on the grid? It puts him third ahead of Louis Hartley, crucially, his title rival.
He's
And
a
I think
thousandths
Hartley
off of
on a few
Valencia.
personal best, but not going quicker than Chris English at the moment.
No, he's backed off.
There we go. So that's going to be it then. Third and fourth for our two title protagonists. But Hartley will have the soft tyres at his disposal.
Look at that. The top 5 separated by a 10th.
Wow. That is
Brilliant.
pretty incredible. Sadly, none of the top 5 100-bit simulation drivers.
Oh,
They're
Loic's
all
still on
6th,
that.
7th, and 8th.
Yeah, look, mine is still on. Look here, let's get out last corner as
Oh,
Nick
no.
said.
Oh, that's
never
not going to
mind.
do him any good, but he's done well to avoid the
Don't hit the
wall.
barrier.
Oh. Well, he did.
Censored.
Anyway, here comes Remco. Well, you don't want to see too embarrassment. We don't want to get too embarrassed here. Remco Dizou powers towards the line on his final attempt. It's a personal best, but it's only good enough for 7th. So best of the Hunter Birch of the Infinities.
Wow.
But
As Lure improves. So the top 8, 3.5 tenths.
there we go. So it's the little margins that are going to decide it here. But I think that's qualifying over then. Everyone has made it back.
Let's see if the results feel like working today. It still says angle C, but we can ignore that.
There we go. So Mario Valencia did do enough to hold on in the end. 23.107. Very impressive lap time to beat Carl Benson by 3/10 there. Chris English, he will start third, just ahead of Louis Hartley, crucially. So it's gravel trap second and third, despite being a man down. Behind Louis Hartley, it's Alessandro Valente for Scuderia Moreira. Then in 6th position, it will be Loic Moynier for Hunter Birch Simulation ahead of his teammate Remco Dizou and Ten Lure. And I think Loic is another one using the softs in race 1. Behind Lure is former Hunter Birch Simulation driver Chris Hood for Scuderia Moreira. 10th, it's Maximilian Petrafsky. So he's been undisqualified. He will get to start in the top 10, presumably.
Yep.
Igor Studniarek will start 11th for SZ Racing ahead of Peter Schunemann. Adam Ziola in the other SZ Racing car. Bring up the rear. It's the ever-reliable James Smagersgale in the 660 Scuderia Moreira.
So it looks like Mario snuck in a lap right at the death there.
I was going to say, did he do that before the flag or after the flag?
We were so distracted by our drivers binning it that we didn't see Mario's at that lap at the end. I did see him. Somebody was left on track right at the end, and Chris Hood is just typing in chat off. So I think maybe he's listening to me talking about him in commentary. And now Alessandro Valente goes braff woof woof woof. So yeah, the drivers have turned into animals now. But there we go then. What a qualifying session, it must be said. And very impressive by all concerned, I think. Like you said, that top 8 all within about a second of each other.
Right. Straight into the race session.
Remco Dizou says in the Hunderbet Simulation Discord chat, he says, yay, that final corner is a female dog, by the way.
Maybe that's where all
actually,
the
it's a
dog
deer.
noises were coming from.
It is a deer. The last corner's a deer. So
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he used a different word, but I don't want to.
yes.
I don't want to get cancelled by all the 12-year-olds watching. I don't want to teach them a naughty word. I don't want the parents complaining. So anyway,
A deer, a female deer. Ray,
right, so
a drop of golden sun. Sorry, I'm gonna get all that. Me, and
you're getting all the
I call
songs out of the
myself
way. I know you're
Bob.
practicing all your puns for the Formula E race in Hyderabad in India.
Is it Hyderabad? I thought it was Hyderabad.
Hyderabad, yeah.
Is it? I can't remember. We'll have to.
Well,
have a
it's spelt Hyderabad. So
yeah. Oh,
everyone
green light.
else has
Here we
been.
go.
Here we go then. So the race about to get going with Mario Valencia on pole position ahead of Carl Benton. The light's about to go on. We'll begin racing in Oulton Park now. And it's a great start from Louis Hartley in 5th. He gets alongside Chris English, but Valencia is being attacked by Benton. Benton trying to sweep around the outside into turn 1. Brilliant start by Moynier as well. And the two title rivals come together there. And Louis Hartley and Chris English just survive, but it's Hartley ahead in 4th position. Moynier 3rd. Benton 2nd. Valencia holds on to the lead, but into turn 2 they come. Moynier is under attack. 3 wide they go, Josh.
This is going to be very hard into the hairpin bend as well. You've got a really opportunity on your brakes. Brake late, cover the inside line. Don't make contact. It's on the outside. You get forced
And here
off.
comes Chris English up the inside, forces Louis Hartley into the cones, and Chris English back into 4th position.
Nick and Brook, always an overtaking opportunity if you're feeling brave enough, and for some of them
Moynier
are.
attacks Benton as well for 2nd. Moynier tries to go round the outside into the chicane, nearly gets squeezed in the wall. That was great defence from Benton there. And now Chris English wants to go. Oh, and another bollard goes flying. So Valencia's made a break for it.
What? He's 1.9 ahead already, and that's
That shows you how much
Dorman.
Benton was defending there, as Lua makes a move on Alessandro Valente there for 6th position.
Oh, and Benton's gone wide, and Munier's looking up the inside again, and we've got further back English versus Hartley as well. Munier takes 2nd, Hartley's up the inside as well, and he's cleared English easily as we come into the last couple of corners.
Yeah, English gives him a little tap at the back for good measure there as we complete the first lap then. It's Valencia from Moynier, from Benton, Hartley, English, Lua, Valente, Petravki is 8th, ahead of Schoenemann, and Chris Hood rounds out the top 10. As Dizier has had an awful first lap. He's down in last position in 14th, 21 seconds down on the pack. So I think Remco got spun there.
Yeah.
But here comes Louis Hartley attacking Carl Benton.
There was a yellow flag out just after Knickerbrook as well, the chicane area, so I think there was contact round about there. But still, down to Island Bend. Hartley's back in the toe, trying to go to the inside of Benton. He's going to leave it very late. Thought about it. Benton covers the inside line. Meantime, further back, I think Valente's trying to go for a move. Yep, on the inside. And gives a little bit of
side-on
banging.
contact with Petravki there. These two, of course, have come to blows plenty of times in Season 1. I remember protesting Petravki as team manager for
switch
Valente.
back.
But here comes Petravki up the inside in the left speed. The forward focus goes through, goes wide. Oh, is Valente going to be able to cut back here on exit?
That's
he
close.
gets squeezed out once again. And here comes the Finavonda Peter Schoenemann getting involved. The two orange cars, the Chicken Nugget and the Dutch orange car. And in fact, there's a Hood in the other Dutch Chicken Nugget, Moreira, coming to squeeze Schoenemann.
Well, we do like processed food, so maybe they're going to go through the blender once more to make contact. Someone's off with the yellow flag. There
Oh, it's
in the
Petravki,
background.
and that's Petravki facing the wrong way. That's the penultimate
she's
corner.
out.
Oh dear, so Remco, too much damage, and Hunter Birch driver has had to retire. So that's going to give him an awful lot of work to do in race 2. Valencia, once again, says fastest lap of the race, 2.8 seconds, I think, clear of everyone else. And that is very, very impressive first couple of laps there. Moynier still holds on to 2nd with Carl Benton all over the back of him. But Benton being attacked by Hartley, then English in 5th. Lewis still 6th. Valente in 7th from Peter Schoenemann. Chris Hood 9th, and Adam Ziola now rounds out the top 10.
I think Valencia's got this one in the bag as well. If he can just keep it calm for the next 14 minutes, the battle's going to be between 2nd position and there. Once again, Munier making a mistake on the bump, going
Yeah,
wide.
very wide. And that's going to allow Carl Benton to undo all that good work. But Moynier thankfully gets enough drive in that rear-wheel drive car off the corner in order to maintain position. And now he's really just got to hope that... Oh, little mistake from Louis Hartley there, championship leader. All that ballast as well is really not going to help him in his pursuit of Carl Benton, is it?
This is a really struggle as well. Nick, you really have put the best position on, isn't it? Axis director as well, because look at this, we've got a great run.
I know, I'm relieved after last race.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a mess. But no, we got Hartley. Oh, that's English off in the background.
Oh dear, I thought English was struggling because Lua was starting to attack him. Off track he goes and he rejoins right alongside Peter Schoenemann, who just makes it through. And now here comes Chris Hood.
I think English hit the wall, Nick, as well.
I think he did, and English is not. He's on the not on the option tyres. He's on the prime tyres, so that's why he was struggling to overtake Hartley, who was
we
on the
got
softs.
a report back from Remco Dizu. He had a massive lag spike into turn 2, and that was basically race over, he says.
that's a shame.
So that's a really real bad luck
As
for Remco.
Loic has had an incident.
Oh
Yeah,
dear,
he's
so Loic
got
Meunier
two.
drops to fourth behind Benton and Hartley. So he clearly went wide at turn 1. So now that means Connor Benton back up to second, but now he's got Louis Hartley all over the back of him. These two fighting for that spot on the podium as Loic Meunier now fancies getting back onto it.
There's a really nasty bump into the braking zone for the hairpin there. It's catching a couple of them out as well. It caught Meunier out a couple of minutes ago. It just caught Hartley out too. And now Benton just trying to hold back on second position. He's taking some really strange lines through the corners as well, trying to break that toe.
Yeah, and look, Meunier's got so much less ballast than these two. You can see how much speed he gains at the end of these straights compared to them, even in that rear-wheel drive car, which in theory should not have a distinct top speed advantage, as our drivers keep reporting. But still, especially with Hartley, but also Benton as well, who, let's not forget, third in the Drivers' Championship, really struggling, as Valente makes it past 10 Lure for 5th position.
Well, this is turning out to be an entertaining
think-
race.
there we
Uh,
go.
Lure
Lure
went
must
off the
have made a
track.
mistake, and he's just rejoined just ahead of Peter Schumann, who's been slowly making his way up the order. But we got a big battle for second, and now a big battle for 6th as
Hartley's
well.
taking it. Hartley's retaking second position away, so he's gone through down at turn number 1. Runs a little bit wide. Benton might gain a slipstream through Denton's, now through Cascades as well. Again, running wide is Hartley. Everyone who's running in the front is having negative aero. And look at this
Yeah,
from
Benton
Meunier.
makes another mistake through turn 2. Moynier's going to try and go round the outside at the hairpin. Surely Benton is just going to go as deep on the brakes as he can. And indeed he does so, forces Loic Meunier to take the scenic route, as it were. But not the full scenic route, because that's the full Oulton Park Circuit.
Yeah, I think Colin Turkington did that in qualifying a couple of years ago as well. Locked up, just decided to do the whole loop.
I would.
I would, yeah.
But anyway, through Knickerbrook they go into Clay Hill and then Walter Tower. And Carl Benton has got to really keep his wits about him as Loic Meunier lifts the right-hand side wheels on the curb as he pursues the gravel trap. Big championship fight between these three teams. And currently it's a 1-2 for Finnevond Green. And Louis Hartley really making the best of those soft tyres at the moment. But the weight is going to keep him vulnerable unless there's more mistakes from Carl Benton
Well, I think
and Loic Meunier.
Benton's done very well considering he's on the hard tyres. To
Yeah.
hold
He's
on
just
for that
hanging
long.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both Loic and Louis Hartley are on the softs. And Valerio Valencia too. I think Peter Schumann might be as well.
So looking at that, this is an English up to 8th position. So the two Chris's making a battle. This is past Hood. Oh, there we go. There's a
Oh,
huge
look at
battle.
this. And that's Chris alongside Adam Ziola as they go into turn 1. But Ziola held up by Chris English. And Chris Hood able to slot through there. That was brave, actually, by Chris Hood into turn 1. He put him in a front-wheel drive car, and Chris Hood suddenly comes alive, it seems. But Chris English recovering well from his earlier off. We saw that happen at East London as well, didn't we? As Meunier makes another mistake, which allows Benton to pull clear.
So in East London, the focuses were the cars that were most down on power. Now everyone has equal power. So it will just be tyre and ballast.
Except, of course, that the tyres don't wear either.
Well, yeah,
Because of...
But they're difference in compounds, I mean.
Oh, of course, yeah, in terms of performance. But anyway, look at that gap that Valencia has now. This feels like Matt Richards at Rockingham, I think, where he just pulled a massive gap. 6 seconds now, the gap to Mario Valencia.
As Hartley goes wide.
Yep, it's going to lose out the slipstream now. Can Benton get something towards... Oh, look at that again from Meunier sliding at the rear.
Yeah, Moynier's really pushing to catch back up
Lock
then.
up.
Oh, dear.
Just drifts it wide. Just keeps on going.
Only 8 minutes left to go. This could be a really, really important result for Louis Hartley to hold on to. So Carl Benton has got to help his team and his teammate out here by getting ahead of the Finnevond here. But he's also got to worry about Loic Meunier behind him with much less ballast than either of these two. Could still find a way through.
What's that? Cautiously, wildly accelerating.
Road
that's what we
rage
do.
building. And here comes Loic. Gets another good run through turn 2. And now Benton will be on the defensive, which gives Louis Hartley some breathing space.
I'm not going to say what Bart did, but look at this. This is getting fantastic. Benton is all over the back of Hartley, but Meunier is going to join the party.
Indeed. And it's a freeway party now with Louis Hartley desperately trying to pull away, and a little late dive, a little think about it there from Loic Moynier into Knickerbrook. But that's really just him trying to put Benton offline, really. And once again, they both go very wide over the curb there and almost lift the wheels, which is going to compromise a little bit of their speed. But once again, it's almost like that ballast is holding back Louis Hartley. If only he had a little bit less in the back of that car, he'd be able to pull away. Peter Schumann now looking to attack Lure. So Lure, I believe, is saving his option tyres until race 2. And Peter Schumann is getting out of the way now.
Oh, no!
And Lure, gets very compromised on his exit here. So Peter Schumann is going to breeze through on the inside. And Lure, who's done very little practice, is going to be stranded on the outside and knocked down into 7th position. There we go. Good move from the 69.
As Benton's been overtaken by Loic.
Loic goes really deep into turn 1. And side by side they go on the exit there. It's a great counterattack from Carl Benton there.
Whenever you move away, you miss something.
Exactly. Look at the brakes. The smoke being clawed up into the air. Here's where Benton is a little bit weak. They both go a little bit wide on exit there. And it's getting really desperate here in the fight for third. Look, Moynier breaks very late on the outside, but surely he's not going to be able to intimidate his way through.
I don't know how we got that stopped.
There we go. He was heading for a completely different part of the circuit there. But here we go. He's got to run into Knickerbrook, Josh.
Yep, vengeance will be mine up the inside. Late on the brakes. Yes, they're banging wheels.
But Genton is going to have the inside for the exit here. He's going to force a few wheels off track there for Loic Moynier, and that could well be decisive in this battle.
Benton says, eat my dust, as he goes over the back there as well. Throws up into the face of Moynier, who's now, what, a 10th back?
Yeah, and all of this, Mario Valencia just keeps pulling away. 7.5 seconds now to the good. As but Valente is a long way down on these three in 5th position, with Peter Schumann actually not far behind him either. So Schumann could well try and go for a top 5 here on those soft tyres.
Lousy, rotten karmic retribution.
There we go. But anyway, look, Moynier, he's not done yet. He's still got a couple of minutes, couple of laps left to try and get back on the podium here. As Carl Benton, every time he goes really wide to get the ideal racing line into turn 1, I keep thinking Carl Benton is going to spin the rear wheel out there. But he somehow is able to keep control of it. Now it looks like Hartley has got these two under control. So they're squabbling with each other, and that's allowing Louis Hartley to consolidate 2nd position. And that 1-2 for Finnavon, crucially. Once again, like the only place where he gets a little opportunity is that hairpin on the outside. And Carl Benton, once again, as we've seen many times this season, just driving on his wing mirrors, driving incredibly defensively. Once again, like, gets the run into Knickerbrook.
Oh, he's pushing him up the back as well, and they cannot find a way through.
Yeah, he's going to be pushing him across the finish line at this rate.
I think Mitch Evans had that situation back in Do It, didn't he?
I wouldn't know. I only heard he talked about it, Josh. And it looks like Schunemann and is that Lure?
Yeah, Lure's back through.
Each other then. So actually, Lure's got back through past Schunemann, so a mistake from Peter there. A little adventure, no doubt. And Chris English isn't too far behind either, so English could get back into the top 7 here before too long.
There's Benton. He's... Oh, there we go. Missed it.
There we go. So into the penultimate corner there. Loic Moynier able to get up the inside and outfox Carl Benton finally. And now Moynier released and free to chase after the 75-kilogram ballast Louis Hartley.
He might get him. He's still got 4 minutes.
Oh,
he just needs to make sure he doesn't blow. And wide from both drivers on the exit of turn 1. We saw him doing it so much in qualifying.
The game does allow it.
He's locked up, coming in as well. Double lock-up, and he was trail braking into the corner.
Yeah, Benton looking a bit desperate now as well to get back on the podium here. This has not been a good outing for Gravel Trap whatsoever.
I think Benton will be biding his time knowing he's got the soft tyres for the next race, and when none of the cars ahead of him will.
That's very true. A lot of it, he's been keeping the powder dry. A lot of the others have getting out of the way already, haven't they? So the strategy will come into play come race 2, and it's going to be very frantic in the first couple of laps, I feel. But Moynier, he's not done yet. Hopefully, from my perspective. And once again, going really wide. He's trying to get maximum speed onto this straight to reel in. He's got like a little fishing hook into the back of that orange Hyundai, and he's reeling him in on a line.
I made both these cars. I'm conflicted.
But anyway, yeah, it's a bright green car, and this very leafy. It's probably the greenest track that we go to. This
You're camouflaged.
Almost, yes. At least we don't go near the lake too much. And once again, getting a very wide line. He's right on the back of Louis Hartley now with 2.5 minutes remaining. Is he going to try and dive up the inside into turn one? We've seen that not work. And Moynier sets fastest lap of the race as well. He's flying out there. Now he hasn't got the gravel trap in front of him. But now he's got... He's got
Oh,
this,
dear.
big crash between, is that Studniarek and Smagersgale?
Yeah,
Well,
looks
that's
like
definitely
it.
a lawsuit.
Oh, dear. Oh, and look at this mistake. Louis Hartley goes very, very wide into turn two, but blocks Louis Hartley as he rejoins the track. Blocks Loic Moynier, sorry. It's Loic and Louis. The Loic and Louis show. It's confusing me, the two L's. Let's hope they don't come to grief as Schumann gets back in front of 10 Lure for 6th position.
This is getting interesting. Into the braking zone. He's going to go
Once
for it.
again,
Thought
his
about it.
favourite little party trick, and he locks up as he rejoins the racing line. There's Loic Moynier side by side.
Oh!
Schumann is spun out on the exit of the hairpin. And he's
used
going
a
to be
cheat
very
code.
annoyed at that. And Chris English goes, "Thank you very much. I'll go back into the top 7.
I hope do not press means press right away.
Yeah, me too. Here comes Loic, though. And he's a mean, lean Vindaloo machine, appropriately, given that we've got the Hyderabad E-Prix coming up. And Loic
Oh, he's gonna try.
going this way and that, looking for any little opening he can make happen. But like Louis Hartley, the seasoned campaigner, the man who's fought so hard to keep that championship lead all season, he's not about to let a second place go begging. First 1-2 of the season for Finnevond is up for grabs here.
Last
and
lap,
he's
I
not
think.
about to let Loic Moynier interfere.
Valente's
As we-
past Benton.
Oh dear, Benton really struggling now, and that's why he's come into the pit lane.
Oh, no.
Potentially to retire, potentially because of damage here. But that's really bad news for whatever the reason, or perhaps he's had a track limits penalty here that he's having to serve. But a stop and go, that's very, very rare.
Oh,
Hartley,
no, he's in the garage.
retiring. And that's a bitter blow for gravel trap then, because that's really going to hurt his
I wonder
charge
if he
in
underfueled.
race 2.
Oh, that's true.
That's true. Maybe Loic Moynier forced him to use more than a lap's worth of fuel, which
I
would be
have no
very
choice.
embarrassing. But anyway, here we go. Just a couple more corners to go then as Benton joins the list of retirements. Just 2. But Hartley's only got to hold on here from Loic Moynier. Moynier's running out of opportunities here.
We might
Josh.
get another lap.
I think
Yeah,
right.
Mario's pushing it so hard. He's got 20 seconds to go. What a beautiful race. He's on to his first win of the season here. I mean, he's had a distinct advantage with the best tyres and no ballast, but he still had to make that big gap
I
work
think he's
for him,
lifting
didn't he?
off. I think
Oh,
he's
he's lifting off to help Louis.
Oh.
So the team game being played here. 4, 3, 2, 1. And Mario Valencia wins in Oulton Park. Well, now he does. There's the line. He just had to make sure. But here comes Loic Moynier. It's going to be a dead heat as they cross the line together. But
Oh.
Louis Hartley just holds on to that second position. And what a fabulous fight those two have put on. Here comes Valente. He will finish 4th. And Lure will hold on to 5th position. But that contact with Peter Schumann will be controversial at the end. A little mistake there from 10 Lure. Hopefully he doesn't get penalised. But Chris English recovers at least a 6th to limit the damage. Here comes Peter Schumann, a very annoyed looking Peter Schumann ahead of Chris Hood, who put in a pretty good display there. Adam Ziola will finish 9th ahead of his teammate Igor Sidniarek. And then it will be Smagersgale and Petravki who finishes. His first race he's done in a while. So all in all, a pretty good opener here in Oulton Park.
That was fantastic as well.
Especially if
Really
her name
good.
is Mario. Oh, and Petravki puts in, the biggest drift and the biggest crash that we've seen in quite a while. So that's
Send the
that's
bill
the
to Homer.
Maximilian Petravki we know and love.
Yeah, send the bill to Homer.
Oh, I love the little sponsor that just says sponsor on the side. It really shows the state of Love Speed's financial situation. But anyway, enough throwing shade at the other teams. Let's go through the final results then. Mario Valencia victorious from his teammate Louis Hartley. The first 1-2 for Finnevond Motorsport Green puts their team's championship officially back on track. And whoa, it looks like all the remaining finishers have decided to congregate at that looks like turn 3, turn 1. Moynier holds on to 3rd position from Alessandro Valente. 10 Lure takes 5th in his comeback race for Hunterbird Simulation. Chris English is 6th in a disappointing run for Gravel Trap in the 88. Peter Schumann is 7th. Chris Hood 8th. Adam Ziola 9th. Igor Sidniarek 10th. Oh, and that's somebody cutting the track there. That must be
Speed, glorious speed.
James Smagersgale finishes 11th from Maximilian Petraffi. Then our two retirements. Carl Benton, mysteriously coming into the pits at the end. Oh, and Louis Hartley gives a big drift in front. Oh, and then that looks like Valente collecting his former team there.
Let's see if I can find out what happened to
Remco
Benton.
Dizu also retired with a lag at the end. So hopefully Remco's connection is a little bit more stable by the time we get to race 2. I thought one of the Scuderia Marrera cars got wedged in the wall there. Somehow in the entrance to the pit lane. Might need a little rescue truck there to come out to save him.
Right, I'm going to set the grid and set the ballast. I'll be back in a bit.
But anyway, let's get ready for race 2 then. And for Gravel Trap, we'll be hoping Andy Simmons going to make an appearance at the last minute. But doesn't look like that's happening so far.
Well, what else would you like to hear from the Simpsons Hit and Run?
I don't know. I'd like to commentate on the race if you can.
Oh, yeah, but you've got to get some lines in every now and then. That's even better. Lines make everything more hang on, maybe I should say that bit. I retract my previous statement for $490. This is getting interesting. Yes. After that, though, that is fantastic racing we've just had in race 1.
Yeah, and
Proper
this really
action.
opens the championship because Gravel Trap had a very bad race. Hunter Birch and the friend of Von Green had a very, very good race. So they're looking to really gain advantage here in the team's championship. In the drivers, though, Louis Hartley consolidates that advantage. And we'll have to see. So Valencia will start on pole again, but will it have some ballast in his car that could level the playing field a little bit between himself and Louis Hartley, with both of them on the harder tyres. Moynier and third will also be in the hards. I think English will be the highest placed driver on the soft tyres in race 2. Or the medium tyres, the option tyres. Let me have a look at who else is on them for the start of this race. If I go into confirmed teams.
I mean, just looking at it as well, reckless driving is my pet peeve. Pretty much could be applied to race 1. I didn't do it. Bart did it. Looks harder than it is.
Looks harder than it is a good one.
Out of control.
Please don't sue is one of my favourites.
Please don't sue.
Or
yeah.
I love the one of the things that the pedestrians say when you run them over. It's like, thanks a lot, Mr. Break My Legs. Or spines don't bend that way. Anyway, race 2, who's on the options? Alessandro Valente is actually the highest place on the option tyre. Then it is Chris English, just behind him. Carl Benton, who's going to start near the very back because he retired, is also on the option tyres. Ten Lua, who starts... Actually, Ten Lua is the high, isn't he? The highest, because did he finish ahead? No, he finished behind Alessandro Valente. So it's Valente, Lua, and English, who are all sort of starting pretty much locked together, all on the soft tyres in, I think, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Remco Dizu and Ting Lua are asking to go to the bathroom in the chat on the stream, and
That's ironic because Remco didn't do most of the race.
Yeah, but come on, guys, you racing drivers, learn from the best.
Go in your suit.
Precisely, yeah. go in your suit. Works for Jacques Villeneuve. I think David. Well, unless you're Mark Webber, then you're sick in your suit, don't you? God, that was horrible. I think what did Kimi Räikkönen say he once did in the car? I can't remember what he said something, didn't he? Like he didn't actually go for a wee. He went, I think, for something else.
No, he missed a presentation by Pele at the 2006 Brazilian Grand Prix that was for Michael Schumacher's original retirement because he was using the loo, and he said it in a quite forceful way on the on
Martin's grid, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yes,
I remember.
It was sort of Kimi being typical Kimi, and Martin sort of having to awkwardly say, "Okay, thanks for that detail."
I miss Kimi. I really do. Although his boat, One Montoy, is still actually in use. It's in Monaco at the moment. And of course,
I like the thumbnail we got from Nick's channel, which seems to be of a railway.
Yeah, just there is a
channel.
There is a thumbnail. It just doesn't seem to pull it through until the upload. So,
because it's a live stream, of course.
Yeah, it will be going on the EERC channel as soon as we get access to
live
it.
Chat. Josh Hamilton says, "Come on, Louis, our Scottish goat." Lim Donahue says, "Come on, good evening, Motorsport," which I assume is Finavon translated into English.
It is, yeah.
Nicky's on it.
Lim Donahue says, "How dare they remove me from viewing a Finavon front row lockout?" Lim Donahue says, 12-year-old, I'm 26. I'm not sure what the context is there. Joshua Hamilton says, "My condolences."
Okay.
And Louis Hartley comes in to say, "It is indeed a good evening." So it was a great drive from Louis Hartley, a great defensive drive from all that ballast. And a drive like that could well be the thing that ends up at the end of the season getting him the points over Chris English and Thunderbird Simulation, of course, to win at least one of those championships. I think Gravel Trap might be a bit difficult to beat, even with one car down in this race. But hey, you never know. If we can get the point down from 120 points to just maybe 80 or 70, then maybe there's a chance.
Nick's busy setting the grid as the warm-up's on.
Yep. So we'll just have to wait patiently.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we haven't had Nick completely lose connection like we did at East London in the middle of race 2. So we didn't even get to do the final race, and I did the second race just looking at the timing screen.
That was the only time my internet has dropped out in the last 3 weeks. During the race.
And we see Louis Hartley just negotiating the bump there. You saw the front wheel sort of lift as he was turning in there, which really shows how difficult it is to get the braking right for that hairpin there.
I've made a paperclip look like the classic Interlagos.
Okay.
Just sort of let you know what we're up to in the break.
Good that you're being productive with your time. I started McLaren Nemo Formula E team account or whatever. I even found a magnetic clownfish.
No, really?
And I've got it stuck to my lamp at the moment. I think because I already did the McLaren, instead of putting Neon on it, I put Amnesty International logo. So I think I might get some extra pieces so I can do Nemo Formula E livery. Because I showed you the thing,
Yes.
Instead of the Neon racing with purpose, I said racing with porpoise or something. A partnership with porpoise. And I couldn't find a Finding Nemo porpoise, so I used a dolphin from Finding Dory, I think.
To be fair, if anybody many people have said to me I'm more like Dory than anything else.
No, the great thing was I found a roleplay account for
Whoa.
Nemo's dad. Oh dear, we're seeing a little bit of a mating ritual between these two opposing
the
teams.
wild.
That looks like Lua just giving a little friendly front nudge to the front of Louis Hartley to show what he's intending to do, I think.
Oh, he's gone the wrong way. He's got lost.
And Lure is one of the drivers with the soft tyres for race 2, so he's got Hartley in his sights very
All
much.
the gravel trap cars as well.
All of the gravel traps, all 2 of them, yes.
Yeah.
With Chris English very well placed, Carl Benton having to start at the very back is giving himself a lot of work to do, so Benton will have to do quite the overtake show, or just hope everyone falls off the road in front of him.
All these fire trucks going round, it makes me think of that Family Guy thing with the fire truck can consume more than twice its weight. The ambulances will have to wait their turn. The thing is, the gap between these races just...
No, it's great to see screenshots from like a practice, and like Money will post something like, this is practicing, and it shows the screen on board of him in the middle of the service park area, like where all the motorhomes are, just like nowhere near the track at all.
Right, who wants a car race?
No wonder he couldn't overtake Louis Hartley.
Speed, glorious speed!
I need more speed.
The vibrations are tickling my feet.
Hopefully my store will not be robbed more than 5 times while I'm driving around today.
Remember that one?
Right.
I must admit,
Save
the odor
me,
of
Jeebus.
the fresh air is a much more pleasing odor than the odor of the hot dog machine. Anyway, here we go.
We're
So,
Oulton Park. There is hot dogs.
walk out the front row once more with Mary Valencia on pole position, Louis Hartley just behind, then Loic Moynier hoping for round 2 here, but behind him Valente, Lua, English, all on the soft tyres. And then it is Peter Schumann looking for revenge on 10 Lure into turn 1. So here we go. The light's about to go out for race 2 here at Oulton Park. Who's going to get the best getaway? And once more, it's Louis Hartley and Loic Moynier. And they go either side of Mario Valencia. That ballast instantly kicking in. And Loic Moynier takes the lead into turn 1. But here comes Louis Hartley.
And this is a fantastic start.
And
More
Remco
cars being
Dizzy
rounded
once
wide.
again goes off track. And he's last in the field once more, unfortunately.
Oh, look
but
at
here we
Hartley.
go. Oh, big drift for Valencia, and that could open the door for Lua and English to come through.
And Munia's gone wide. Go on, Nick.
He might have got a tap there.
Here we go, and Valencia on the inside. Here we go, 3 into
Oh!
1. Oh, and a big crash! And that's one of the Marina cars just
Okay,
causing
red
a
flag.
pinball effect there. And several cars having to collect themselves there. And that's very, very chaotic indeed. But everyone seems to still be going. Red flag called by Nick Homer, but not enforced just yet. So it looks like,
Oh, no,
big
never
crash
mind.
again! And that's definitely a red flag. It wasn't one before as Lua hits the back of one of the
I'm in the
Scuderi
lake.
Marina cars in revenge. And Oulton Park, it's looking more like a car park at the moment there. I think that was Valente he hit the back of. So I'm not sure which of the, I think it might have been Chris Hood who went into the back of everyone there. the
Someone
hairpin.
just seemed to neglect to press the middle pedal.
It's smashing time.
Well, I'll tell you who's going to be relieved at that one, Mario Valencia, because he made a horrific start getaway off the grid there.
Yeah,
And,
Munio's really affected by that. That was such a great start for him. Let's hope he can
he's
do
done it once, he can do it again. There's pretty good the traction on that Infinity is pretty good off the line.
And of course, medium compound tire for this race, so he'll have a better acceleration. But can he keep the lead?
Well, no, it's Valente, Lure, and English who've got the medium compound tires.
So everyone else on soft again.
Pretty much, apart from Benton and Dizu. No, Dizu's saving his for the third race.
Right, reverse.
So just Benton.
Come on, come on, come
Here
on.
we go. The lights
Attempt
then.
2.
Here we go. So, stroke 2. Here we go then. Let's hope it's a cleaner start this time. The lights go off now. And it's another bad start for Valente. He tries to squeeze him in the wall and does so. And that's going to allow Louis Hartley through into the lead as
Is Valente out?
Lloyd Moynier is just held up there. Lua goes off track then and has to let...
Valencia's stayed in the lead.
Oh,
Yeah, but
I'm not sure how he's managed that there. But here we go then. So Moynier comes in for round 2, goes wide. Here comes Louis Hartley, takes in second place once more. So the order pretty much the same, but it's English who's been making places. Now he goes on
Right.
the outside into turn
Everyone's
3.
braking this time.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
Oh, a little bit
And-
damning.
Oh,
Why is-
big spin! And that's Lloyd Moynier goes round and has to let the entire field go through. That's a very costly error there. I wonder if Chris English sort of tapped him round there. Here comes Lua, and he pushes
Oh.
one of the three of
Oh,
us
what
off
is
track
going
into Knickerbrook.
on?
And is that Schooneman going around?
Yeah, that wasn't on from Lua there at all.
Oh dear, that's Schooneman wanting revenge again on the Free Navon cars. So he just seems to have it out for everybody today. I'm wondering if it was a good idea to let him in that car an hour before the race. But anyway, Merrick
race
Valencia
one was
now
all right.
still leads then from Louis Hartley and Chris English now, who's got Hartley in his sights now. He's got a distinct advantage here. Chris English on the soft tyre has been making good progress so far. Hartley desperately wants Valencia to let him through here. Through the final corner they go, Josh.
And now, already English on the grass as well. He's got a slipstream up towards Hartley. Valencia's going to have no acceleration with the amount of ballast he's got, but somehow keeping ahead. Hartley's on the inside line. English swings around the outside, turn 1. He'll get the cab back. Down through Dentons and Cascades. A little bit wide. He'll try the outside maneuver. This might just work out.
Here we go. The title protagonist side by side through turn 2.
Oh,
And Chris
drift.
English is forced to the outside, but keeps his foot in. He'll have the inside for the hairpin, Josh.
Yep, no track and no room makes English a very angry boy, and he's on the inside. He's made the move.
Here we go. Beautiful stuff then from Chris
Oh.
English as he destroys the cones on his way out. And now he's going to chase Mario Valencia for the win. And those soft tyres, he's got a distinct advantage here, Chris English. I wonder how long Mario Valencia can hold on to
Valencia's
this
made a
one, and he
mistake.
already makes a mistake there.
He'll have got used to driving with the soft tyres and no ballast, and now he's got hard tyres and 75 kilos.
Meanwhile, Ten Lure has recovered from his attack of assault of Peter Schumann earlier and is now all over the back of Valente. And in fact, he's having a little look up the inside there. But
Grass
that
being
looks
kicked
like
out.
is that Smaggersgale
It
making
was,
a mistake there?
Benton.
Oh, it's Carl
Someone's
Benton
off.
from the
Hartley!
back up to 7th. Oh, and a mistake from Louis Hartley. That's the championship leader going off there. He's done exactly what Chris English did in the first race. And
Ziola
there could be some
stopped.
damage there.
Ziola stopped. He's right at the back. He's got going back. I think he's made a mistake down at the chicane. But now Valencia. There we go. Yeah, so he has made a mistake. He's got going again. Look at Valencia trying to get back with the speed as well. He'll take too much into turn 1. Watch the cars. He'll understeer wide. Picks up at the second apex. I think he's just about getting used to driving that car, Nick, I would say. What do you think?
Yeah, but he's going to go backwards compared to the people with soft tyres and no ballast.
Look at the lockup from Lua
Next
behind.
up, Alessandro Valente then. Oh, and look at this. This must be Chris Hood in a fight with Carl Benton. So Benton now up into the top 5 from pretty much last. Penultimate position on the group. But Hood is going to try and break late on the outside. And Carl Benton has really just got the hold to the inside there. And 5th position is his. Now he's free to chase after Lewis. So we got a trio of soft tyre runners running together. And English, the other one, in the lead.
And poor Mario in the mid. Oh, he's off.
And he's off at Knickerbrook. That's going to be really difficult to rejoin. And he blocks Valente ever so slightly. And he's able to hold position. And that could create an opportunity for Lua here. He's hit the back of the Morera cars before. And now Benton is attacking.
He's going to have him. Easy, easy, easy.
Oh,
No.
Benton really had to get out of that one because this is really an uncomfortable situation where they're all being held up by Mario Valencia. And oh, look at this. All 4 of them going off track there.
And Hood and Hartley too, and now at the inside, Lloyd's going to make the move. Yep, Benton's down to 5th.
And Benton tries to get the cutback at the final corner. He's got the inside for, what is this corner called again?
Dear Leap.
Dear Leap. And who's going to make the biggest leap here? It's going to be Carl Benton on the inside of Lure into turn 1. He set that up beautifully there.
Down the hill, a little bit wide, Dentons and Cascades as well. Before you go along Island Bend, and again, just touching the curb a bit too much.
Oh,
Don't
look at this.
need to go
Benton
there.
goes to the inside very, very early on just to make sure that 10 Lua can't attack him.
I think he had to defend because he touched the curb coming down the straight. You're not meant to do that.
This
so
is
he had to come
looking
across
much
to
better.
defend.
The gravel trap side by side go. That's Schumann trying to hold off the recovering Moynier. So Schumann already been hit by one of the Infinities today. And there we go. Once again, Lua having to attack Benton in the inside. That's a bad getaway off the corner from Carl Benton then, and that allows the Hunter Birch car back through.
Yeah, I still thought were they actually going to break there? English, by the way, 2.1 seconds ahead. Yellow second sector.
Yeah, Valencia doing a great job of
Hartley.
holding up Valente.
Hartley
stopped. He's hit. That's a dead stop in the chicane for the championship leader there.
Ooh.
And with Chris English looking set to win, this could be a really, really costly race too for Louis Hart.
Oh, no.
And that's Carl Benton in trouble now, and he spins.
We saved it.
He just got that completely wrong, hitting the back of Lua there. But thankfully able to collect himself up there. And through goes Valente into second place.
And Valencia's going to have a run at him out of the last corner of Dear Leap as well.
It's Valente versus Valencia, somewhat confusingly. Here we go. English continues to stretch his legs up front. And now Lua fancies a run at the podium here.
Well, you know what they say, stretch the ledge and the you know what as they come through.
And the thing in between the legs.
It's raining.
It's raining. I thought it was getting darker.
Now, this could be very, very interesting because some of the cars might pit, especially those further back. Up the inside goes Lua on Valencia. Valencia with all that ballast. Thankful that the rain has come now because now it's going to hurt him a little bit less with all the water coming down on the track.
This is brilliant for those on the soft tyres as well because it's going to mean that they're going to keep temperature in them longer than those on the mediums.
Here we go once again. Lua has a look up the inside of Valencia. He's got much less ballast holding him back. Is he going to make a late move into Knickerbrook chicane? Here we go, Josh.
Oh, he's going to have it on the inside, but takes most
just
of the
enough
curb.
space. Oh. And Valencia did not want to give that one up. And Chris Hood tries to squeeze them. You're not going to make it through there, my friend. But somehow he has. No, he hasn't. Off he goes into the wall. And that's a big hit there for Chris Hood. That could be terminal damage
As
there.
Benton gets through.
goes Benton.
Yeah, he's off into the wall as well. He's been packed up and shipped out in a box as well. The chicken nugget car were not. And he's DNF'd.
Oh, I think Chris is going to be very aggrieved at that. That felt a little bit like it was optimistic to go through the middle there. And I think Benton just didn't see him in time as, there we go, Valente now starting to pull a little bit of a second gap on 10 Lua.
Track might also be starting to
9 minutes left to go. These 5 in the top 5 might stay out. Anybody pitting?
Yes.
Ziola and Studniarek are pitting for wets.
And Hartley, I think I saw coming to the pit lane just before. So I think Hartley's on wet tyres. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's 6 9 seconds back. I think he is.
I don't know if it's that wet yet. How long have we got left?
9 minutes.
That's a lot of time to make up in 9 minutes. It's going to need to start really throwing it down.
Oh.
But there we go. This has been quite an eventful race too. I thought race 1 was something, but now this has turned it up completely. But there is it'd be nice to have, by the way, Nick, the little graphic at the bottom that shows you not just the yeah, we haven't had that. We've had to basically use. Thankfully, there's only been about 14 drivers to keep track of. So
I've been going by the little green line at the side of the timing monitor.
I think Ziola and Studniarek have had to go a lap down because of that. And in
Yeah.
fact, Studniarek gets a penalty, I believe, for speeding in the pit lane.
Dizu's in too, so they're changing over to wets. Yellow second sector. That Ziola's gone off down at Knickerbock chicane.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's wet enough yet.
No, they're just slipping off, aren't they, on the wet tyres?
Yeah, the pace it just isn't there. The sector times looking pretty slow. You have to be said from those who have switched. So Louis Hartley's really got to hope it just keeps chucking it down, doesn't he? It's
Yep.
15% rain, I think it's saying at the moment.
Yeah, that's nowhere near enough for wets. You need about 40% for wets.
And it really has split up the field, though, massively. The gaps between everyone, as the pace, they're all just, I think, psychological rain is coming to it.
But
Where
Louis
they think
Hartley,
it's
you
worse
can
than it is.
understand why he did that, though. Nothing to
Yeah.
lose after that big hit there. The race had already gone wrong. Somehow, of all the craziness with Dizu pitting after him, he somehow managed to get back into the top 10, as we see yellow in the first sector.
Lewis
And Lure
spun.
drops a
Yeah.
bit. So, Lure, it's gotten a bit too wet for him then. He loses 2 positions there to Valencia, Benton, and Smaggersgale.
Wonder if you put a wheel on the grass down the straight as well and just loop the rear tyres.
I think that's probably quite likely with the rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, this is really a situation that plays to the strengths of the front-wheel drive cars, isn't it? Which might be why Ziola and Studniarek went for the wets then and gambled.
Oh, who's that off?
is
That's Mario.
that's-
It's
yeah.
Valencia making another error there, which has let Benton back into
As
the top 3.
Smaggersgale's DNF'd from 6th.
Oh,
Oh
no.
dear. That's a big shame for Smaggersgale, who's doing so well there
Oh!
with James.
More yellows.
Oh, and it's Lloyd Moynier this time, having a little moment there. And that's a big shame for
And
him. That's like
Someone else
Schumann
at
for
the
him.
hairpin. So, Petrasky's at the hairpin.
Oh dear, Petravki, who was
There we go.
in the top 9, that could let Hartley through then.
Look how hard it's raining now, guys, as well. The top there. It's really coming down
30%
now.
rain. We're getting into wet territory with 7 minutes remaining.
Oh, it's
So
think
this is very, very tense. Chris English, he's got such a big
Oh.
lead. He's staying out, but look how much he's having to slow on the exit of turn 1 there.
Valente
And we can
stayed
see
out.
the rain visibly increasing now, and it's going to get more and more
Here comes
treacherous. There's
Benton.
Valente. Valente's been closed in by Carl
Valencia.
Benton.
Valencia's in the pit lane. So, oh, and a lock off for Lloyd. He's going to go spam
No,
into
he's going
the
to go
wall.
straight into the wall there as Mario Valencia goes to the pits. So, Lure, who just got open to 4th, that's Schumann going through. The Schumann has come out of nowhere here. Did Schumann go for wets earlier? I'm
I
not sure
don't
he
think
did.
he did. He would be further
No.
down if he did.
Yeah, Schumann, the rain master then, trying to get the most out of those medium tyres then.
Oh, this is a nightmare.
And I think Louis Hartley went for softs actually.
Welcome
That's
to
not
Oulton
allowed.
Park on Ice.
Is it?
Well, that's what it's saying on the thing. I'm not sure if that's actually the wet tyres and the graphics wrong.
Yeah.
But
Thing is, though, pit stops here take so long, so we're going to lose quite a lot of the race being in the pit lane
It's
with
about
the rain coming.
40 seconds, I believe, for a tyre
wide
change.
goes
Yeah.
Valente, and now Benton is going to be all over the back of him like a cheap suit. Here we go into the back end of the circuit. I think Benton's coming through to make it a gravel trap 1-2. So it seems everyone's taking their turns to get 1-2s, aren't they?
Yeah, move over. You can hear him saying he's trying to look
Overtaking
through.
is going to be very difficult.
Oh,
unless
brake-
Valente
look
does
out,
that.
and Valente goes straight off and flies into the air.
Oh,
And into
yeah.
the wall he goes, and that's a big hit there. Somehow Valente just soaring through the gravel there, and that's Lure looking very damaged. trying to get
Schooneman's
to
back
the
behind
pits.
him. He might
so
have...
I wonder how many damaged cars are just going to stick out here as the rain just increases and increases here.
You have to,
30,
really.
Still 30%. It could be even more than that now. Chris English has still got the fastest lap of the race, but his last lap 1:37. Carl Benson's at a 1:29 there.
Oh, and Valente is just going so much
Lloyd
wider
Moynier
now.
has set a 2:08. I think
he
he might have
pitting?
hit
He's coming in.
Yeah.
Here we go then. In comes Valente then from 3rd. That is going to allow Lure, who's staying out
Hang
with what
on.
looks like horrendous damage there.
Hang on, as Lloyd's just coming across the line, so has he gone off as well at the back half of the track?
No, we saw him
Because-
go off at turn 1, didn't we, Lure?
Yeah, yes. So he's got more damage because he
And
should
look,
have
he's
been ahead of
crabbing
Valente.
quite badly as
yeah.
well. This is quite a risky strategy from Lure. He's sort of hoping it dries out, I guess.
Because,
Gravel Trap
yeah.
is saying, well, we're so far in the lead, we can afford to coast it
4.5 minutes is only 2 laps in these conditions.
I'd stay out, but crawling pace, and those on the wet tyres.
Yeah, I
can they
wonder
get
if
any
Ziola
closer?
and
Oh, Lewis
Studniarek-
can't
I
stop.
wonder if Ziola and Studniarek maybe made the right call, but they're still a lap down, as is Dizu, I think.
Yeah, Dizu's gone down. They're not going to get it. They're not going to get it, so they're just going to have to go round. But Lloyd's crabbing like mad.
I think that's just the rears going away from him. I'm
I
not
think
sure that's
Dizu
crabbing.
actually went for softs. I'm not sure.
Oh, who was
I
that?
can't see
slowing?
anybody who's gone for. It's only really
Yeah,
it
you're
looks
right,
like
Nick.
Ziola and Studniarek are the ones on wets. Mary Valencia is on the mediums.
Yeah, Nick, you're right. It's just the rears going. There's no crabbing at all. So That's why. But we saw Lloyd hit the wall at turn 1. That allowed Valencia ahead. That had Valencia ahead of him, and then Valencia went off. Lawyer went ahead of him, and the next time we see them, Valencia's in the pits, and Lawyer's behind him again, and he hasn't lapped him. So Lawyer must have had an incident somewhere else on the track.
As Loic and Valente is making his way back through on the wets.
Yeah, Mario Valencia set a 38 lap time. Really quick first sector here, 38.4 on, I believe, the wet tyres.
Yes, he is on the wets.
So him,
It's
I think
possible.
him, Ziola, Diziu, and Studniarek.
So where
are
is
the ones on
Mario?
wet.
Oh, he's in the gravel.
Well, there we go. That was so much for the wet tyres.
But English is miles ahead. He's going to have to lose so much time in these next lap is probably the last lap.
Yeah, here we go. So-
Hang on, is that Ben? Oh,
Oh,
never
and off
mind.
goes Lua again. This is really just a survival race it's turned into. But Louis
Benton's-
Hartley still down in 8th position, so he's not really been able to make the inroads after that switch for wet tyres
He's
that you
got.
would have hoped.
Oh, that car's a lap down behind him.
Yeah, and the one in front of him, I think, was Remco Diziu. So Diziu's right behind English. The question is, can he get ahead and get rounding time? I don't think he can.
No, I don't think he
Yeah.
can.
The rain is really, really bucketing down now. There's Schoenman he's just
There's a lap.
he's just lapping someone.
Yeah. But those cars, those Infinities, are on the wets, definitely.
Yeah, here we go. So they are trying to race to get back on the lead lap. That looks like Ziola then coming through.
English is going to make it with, I think it'll be, one lap?
Yeah, I
after
think this will be the last, coming into the last lap now.
He's at the last corner. 2 minutes on the clock. I hope it is, because otherwise I don't want to be driving these cars right now.
Mario's going quite quick. He could get Peter.
I just feel so tense. It's just like waiting for someone to fall off the road here.
Oh, look at the spray now. That's cut up as well. So how are those on the slicks managing this? The track is soaking wet.
Yeah, let's have a look. Still saying 30% rain, but I'm not sure what the actual track condition is. I think we're getting into sort of 50, 60%, aren't we?
Yeah, looks like it. But you've also got the patches where you go under a bridge.
Valencia is now being held up by, is that, one of the Finavons ahead of him. No, that's him getting for position. That's him getting past Schumann, who's gone off track and damaged the car, I think.
Oh, there's
Crucial
more
move
action.
there.
Yep.
This rain has really saved Mario Valencia's race. Oh, into the back! And all three of them come together then. That's Schumann just being attacked by Alessandro Valente. And now
Couldn't
here
stop.
comes Loic Moynier.
They couldn't stop. It was literally just press the brakes. Nothing happened. Valencia's are trying
And
to
here we
swing
go.
it.
And Moynier just sweeps
He
through
wouldn't
on the wet
stop.
tyres. And
Yes,
Peter Schumann staying out on the dries. It's really worked against him.
And the race leader spun and the chicane. Quickly cut to English. English has made a mistake. He's off the track. He's lost loads of time. Benton's right behind him.
Is he? I don't
He's
see Benton
quite
anymore.
close.
Yeah,
There he is.
I saw him
Oh.
stopped on the driver
So
tracker
there we go.
down
We
the
could
Nookie
see
Brook.
a sting in the tail here. Well, there'll be team orders for Gravel Trap. They need this one too.
I think this is the last lap. It's going to be quite close.
Yeah, they are
English, I think,
tiptoeing around.
I think he went straight on into the bollard and had
And
to reverse out.
Valencia catching Lure as well for third. So that's not over yet. Remember, Lure on the dry tyres. Here he is with the horribly damaged
And there's Mario.
Infinity. And there's the
Oh.
lapped car in between them. So that Studniarek here could save them.
5 seconds. Race leaders coming out the last corner.
It's
I
the
think
last lap.
that's it.
Yep.
Here we
that's it.
go. So Chris English comes across the line now. He stayed out. The rain could not stop him. Chris English wins to close back on Louis Hartley for the championship lead. Carl Benton makes it a Gravel Trap 1-2
This is
to
gonna
recover
be
from
close.
race 1. But here's Lua on
he's
those dry
crawling.
tyres. Has the gamble worked out? The car looks absolutely
there's Mario.
horrible. Here comes Valencia
he's so
pushing
quicker.
for all he's worth on those wets. And Moynier is back through on Valente. So Valente's made a mistake.
He's gonna have it.
Here
Let's
goes
go
Mario
wide.
around the
Go
outside. He
wide.
goes off track into the gravel. Oh, I can't believe it. And here comes the Hunter Birch of Lloyd Moynier alongside. It's just a run to the line now. And here goes Valente pushing them both
Contact.
along. They slide across, but Moynier's done it.
Has he?
Oh, my goodness, yes. Oh, they all crash across the line. But it is, I think, Moynier, Valente, Valencia, the final order.
Yes.
It's smashing.
I think I've just given myself a heart attack.
That
there.
reminded me of Shedden and Neil in 2011, off at the last
Yes.
corner.
And there's Louis Hartley. What a disastrous race that was for him, down in 8th position.
Good for reverse grid, though.
Oh, actually.
Indeed.
And indeed
Indeed.
good for Remco Diziu down in rounding out the top 10 as well.
Right,
And
get back
Louis
to the
Hartley
pits, guys.
just
quick.
thankful to finish that race because it looks so treacherous. And he reverses into. Oh, is that the car that was a lap down? Oh, he doesn't have to do the extra laps. Doesn't matter.
And breathe.
My goodness.
Must never commentate again.
It was difficult to figure out who was on what tyres there for most of that race.
What a fab race.
Is this the
Wow.
right result? Oh, hang on.
Unpredictable and a half. Anyway, Josh, do you want to take us through the results there? Just for a change.
I've just got breath. Okay, Chris English does a fantastic domination drive in the wets and wins.
Despite that final lap off, yeah?
Despite the final last off, yeah. Carl Benton finishes in second place. Dan Lawyer finishes in third, despite ramming into nearly half the field as well. And then Lauren Moyer in fourth position. Valente takes fifth. Valencia does the comeback, but then finishes down in sixth position after running off at the last corner as well. Peter Schumann's is seventh. Louis Hartley's eighth. Petrowski's in ninth. And Renko Jizu rounds out the top 10 as well. Second page. Adam Ziola is 11th as well, with Sunny Arek as well in 12th. Smashes Gale and Chris Hood DNF'd early on in the race.
Smashes
as well.
Gale, that's quite the Freudian slip there.
Yeah, well.
Poor James. He was having a good race up until that point. Yeah, I'll tell you what, probably the most almost impressive is Chris English. Was Carl Benton going from second last on the grid to second.
What a race that was. That was another good one. Let's say race 3 is just as exciting.
Let's hope we get it's Hunter Burt Simulation's turn for a 1-2. Anyway, I know Remco's got the softs at his disposal, but well, I mean the mediums rather, not the option tires. But now it's rained, the tire rule is kind of out the window, isn't it? Am I right, Nick?
Everyone gets the softs.
Ah, the softs, not just the mediums.
Well, no, the mediums. So everyone gets the option tyres.
Right, I better tell my drivers because they don't know that.
I'll put it in the game chat.
When will race 3 be?
In about 5 minutes.
Oh,
Now, let's hope the rain eases off because it's going to be quite a chaotic start.
and if I have to leave during race 3, I do apologise.
No worries.
This is going to be exciting. 2 classic races we've had, and more excitement coming. Race 3 reverse time. This heater, I can't feel it. I don't know if it's actually blowing heat. This is worse than the other one I had. I can't feel any heat from it at all. I don't think it. I think it's okay in the comp box where I am, which is a garage, but it's not overly hot. It's warm, I suppose, but still, that could be something to change. Right.
Yeah, there we go. I was just talking to the drivers there.
Yes, I was wondering.
But anyway, we just see the calendar now, reminding us of what's coming up for the final couple of races in the season. If I can just get it out on.
We've got Croft on the 9th of March, haven't we? That's been rescheduled.
That's the finale, yes.
Yeah.
So we're sort of definitely in the back end of the season. Where's the?
Well, we're Autopolis
Here
next
it
time
is.
out, aren't we?
Autopolis in Japan, of course. Which is I only know that circuit from doing old. I think there was a Grand Prix 2 map of it that I've seen.
Oh, there is some Gran Turismo on it as well. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, of course it would be. So well, that's 23rd of February, Autopolis, and the finale will be Croft in Yorkshire on the 9th of March. So, no, Croft's definitely in Yorkshire. Yeah, I'm not getting it mixed up with the one that's in Scotland, which is Knockhill. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, no home round for Louis Hartley on this occasion, but I'm sure Croft is pretty close. So.
Knockhill is the type of racing circuit you go to if you want to try and kill your drivers.
Anyway, Nick, I'm sure, is just working out the grid, and as part of that, of course, remember, we do have not just a reverse grid, but one lucky driver out of the 14 that we got gets picked out of the hat. Or unless it's somewhere between 15 to 18 that
Let
gets
me
picked.
get up the Wheel of Destiny.
So, I guess even the retired drivers, the drivers that retired from race 2, have got in with a shout then.
No.
Okay, right. So just the top 12 then.
Yes, I assume.
Who was the last finisher? Oh, I've got it right in front of me.
It was Stepniarek or Ziola, wasn't it?
It was Renko Jizu.
No, Dizu was 10th.
So it was Stydniarek in 12th, I believe.
Oh, so he's got the best chance of getting pole then.
Right, let me get up the old OBS. Right, the high-tech solution.
Oh, yes. Oh, here we go. The picture.
Yeah, this is exactly the one they used to pick a winner. Anyway, whenever you're ready, Nick, spin the wheel.
Let's go.
Poll is going to be...
Yes!
P10.
That's Remco is you.
Oh, man.
I am psychic.
I am going to set the grid. I'll be back momentarily.
Chris is
Chris,
just...
yeah, did you see me getting murdered? Yeah, we did, unfortunately. That's the Carl Benton 10 lure incident, I think he's referring to. Well, he got hit by Benton, didn't he?
Chris has just sent me a video of saying it's me right now and it's Hammond, and let me just play it for you.
Operate the heater controls now. Land Rover heaters are, not their best feature, if I'm honest. That's on full. I can't feel it at all.
Loic says his headset died a few minutes into the race and he couldn't hear his tyres anymore.
Oh, no. Chris is correct there. That is literally me.
This has been an entertaining night, hasn't it?
It really has. It is on full and I can't feel it. Also, I can smell grass. I can literally... Is that... I think that I can smell freshly cut grass.
That's probably just fertilizer.
Who's been putting fertilizer in my commentary box? I mean, many people have said that my commentary may as well be fertilizer, but still.
Oh,
I
I've
know
never
they
said
have.
that.
No, you haven't. You just pick a winner all the time.
Oh, that's the most insulting thing I can do to you.
It is win, pick a winner. I'm on
Well,
1
to be
point.
fair, I did vote Buemi to win when he got pole in Saudi Arabia. So
That is true. That's
yeah,
true.
and provisionally I've sort of gone for Da Costa actually, just to
I've
be
gone
different.
for Buemi for race win.
I
but
was going to go for
yeah.
Nick Cassidy, but I thought for now I'll go for Da Costa. If I wake up and Da Costa qualifies like 20th or something like that, I might go
Yeah.
for.
Well, I'll be shouting at you
someone
then
else.
because I'll be up all night. That's going to be such a long, long morning.
I'll see if I can get up a bit earlier if you need me to. But,
Oh no, it's all right. I can commentate on
I,
quality. Nick,
I
are
hope
you,
mainly just the race.
Nick, are you joining us for the race?
9 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
9:30 is the start. of the
Yeah,
race.
I'll be there. I'll set an alarm.
Lovely. I'm not actually sure when the race starts because I haven't worked out the clock yet. I got told it starts at 9:33, but then looking on the timetable, it says it starts their time at 4 minutes past the hour. So I need to work out what the time difference is.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, it's confusing me as well.
Right. Should we have a race?
Well,
We
let's see if
can't
the
see it,
drivers are
right?
ready. Yeah.
As soon as we can see it, then we'll do it.
Oh, can we not?
I can't see the pictures. I'm stood here looking at an ambulance.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
better.
There we go.
Yay!
It's a nice ambulance.
It is a nice ambulance. Those 3 photographers have been standing out there all day as well.
They just got a bit damp.
Can you see that lady with her arms crossed there as well? She's not enjoying the evening.
She's a Louis Hartley fan.
There's
Oh.
one code, is it?
Well, Louis did really well in race 1, and then drew back. So we sort of evened it out a little
Hey,
bit.
look! Can you see that guy with the t-shirt and grey joggers on in the commentary box area?
Oh, yeah.
Vaguely.
It's Tim Harvey.
Oh, nice.
Alongside him looks to be Lara Croft.
Laura, yep. That well-known British touring car commentator.
Yeah. I actually know someone called Lara, and her first name is Lara because of Lara Croft.
Well, you explain that for the rest of your life.
She did. That was the first time I met her actually, and she a while ago. And I said, "Is that because of that?" And she said, "Yes."
Here we go.
Oh, okay. The grid is set then. Everyone looks ready. And it's Remco Dizu on pole position from Maximilian Petravki and Louis Hartley. The light's about to go out. Off we go. And it's a good getaway from Louis Hartley. But Dizu rockets away from pole position. And coming up, that's 10 Lure in the Hunter Birch as well. Making a few positions round the outside of Mario Valencia at the first corner. Wow, it's a great start for Hunter Birch Simulation.
Lure
But
is
Louis
behind
Hartley
Schooneman.
up to second already, ahead of Petravki.
Yeah. Look at this one. Look, can't get through though. But Nick, he can't
Yeah, I'm
get through though.
just bracing myself. They've come together in the first 2
Oh, here
races.
comes Valencia around the outside. How late is he going to break into this one? Louis goes really
bang.
deep. Oh, on the back of Schumann. And wide goes Dizu. So that's going to be Louis Hartley into the lead.
Yeah. Oh, contact in the
And
front
that's
of the
Moyer
back.
set sideways there. And he's got all the gravel traps attacking him. And
Oh,
all the
Lord.
said cars as
Benton,
well.
Benton.
Oh, Benton up the inside.
We're going
all
three
the way
wide.
there into Knickerbrook. Is he going to be able to hold on to this one? Oh, like just about was able to nudge in front. And the SZ car is Ziola getting well and truly stuck in. But Chris Hood is able to get in front of him.
Breathe.
Petracchi down to fourth now and lifts the wheel dramatically. Both wheels, in fact. And that's going to allow Lua to have a run at him. But it is Schumann up to third, now attacking Remco Diziu, who was not feeling confident ahead of this race. Oh, and he's really struggling here. It looks like the Finavons are going to have the advantage here. Peter Schumann has a look up the inside. Diziu turns in, and he's just about able to hold on. Louis Hartley locks up ahead. And here comes Petracchi around the outside of Schumann, and Diziu is squiggling all over the place.
This is insane as well as they come across the line. Schumann's going to have the inside. And look at Petracchi going to hold it, takes the break, loses out on time and shuts the door.
Turns in just in front of Lua, and Remco hits the bollard. That could be the decisive factor. Here comes Peter Schumann. Schumann on the outside off track. Goes Valencia and he's going to hit them. He hits Petracchi, and that hits Lua as well.
How do they stay on track there? We just had a bowling ball moment.
Wow, that's two cars made of, well and truly made of steel there. And steel wheels as well. That's Lua cutting the inside at the hairpin there to avoid an incident, I think.
Oh, spinner in the background.
And it's like Moynier again. Just like race 2, he spins on the
And
exit
English
of the
has dropped
hairpin.
positions.
And English down to 12. So English and Moynier have given themselves a lot of work to do now. But Louis Hartley, in a reverse of the last race, is now leading over Peter Schumann quite dominantly. But it is, who has got the, well, they've all got the
Yeah,
softs,
they're all
haven't
on the same tyres.
How did this happen? We're smarter than this.
Apparently not. But anyway, 1-2 once again. Although Peter Schumann is not in the same team as Louis Hartley, so it's not quite as advantageous. With Valencia down in 6th, just behind 10 Lua. Petracchi is somehow held on to 4th, which is his best position that he's been in all day. So he'll be hoping to stick there.
I think all hell is about to break loose in the midfield. They are all side by side.
Yeah,
We've got a yellow flag.
Back to 2 seconds. Yeah,
No.
let's the free, and it's Smaggers Gale backwards in the wall at the final corner.
Smash a girl.
Oh dear, and there goes Loic just around the outside of him. So one position, one freebie there from James Smaggers Gale.
Look at that. Hood, Benton, Ziola, all involved with that one as well. A little bit of
Benton
chaotic.
having to do his traditional overtake show, isn't he? And so that's Chris Hood dispensed with. Now, next target, Adam Ziola in 8th position in the SZ car.
Into the hairpin, locks up again for Ziola. And yeah, they just about save it.
Yeah, this is front wheel drive versus rear wheel drive, but Ziola doing a good defensive job thus far.
And I think Valente was making a move further ahead on Valencia. I don't think he's made the move. Yeah, he hasn't. Valencia's still
but
ahead.
Valencia looking very, very vulnerable after winning race 1. He's really not had things his own way. He got so close to the podium in race 2, but lost out on that dramatic last gasp finish, didn't he?
Well, he went for broke and came out with a debt from the Las Vegas bank.
Well, there we go. Let's hope Valencia can at least... and that's Diziu in trouble. Off track he goes, and nearly gets collected there by Valente.
And someone behind. Someone else is in the gravel trap further behind.
I think it was just Diziu rejoining there, and he's rejoined in 10th position, so he's back where he was at the end of race 2, sadly. But Diziu, at least still in the race, could still get some valuable points here. As here comes Chris English, then now attacking Chris Hood.
This should be easy into turn 1.
Not really. He's not really close enough. So the order then: Hartley 3 seconds ahead, or 2.5 seconds ahead of Schumann. Petracchi is now 3rd from 10 Lua. Valencia 5th. Valente 6th. Benson 7th. Hood 8th. And English 9th. And English really needs to make up ground here to limit the damage to Louis Hartley.
This is going to be tense into the hairpin now on the inside
Chris
line.
Hood is not really going to be giving him too many favours here. And,
he is
Carl Benton might be more helpful, though.
Yeah.
He's got a flag.
And he's going to lag right into Remco Diziu. And Remco gets held up a little bit, but not too much. And look at this. That's Lua through on Maximilian Petracchi. That's a great move there at the chicane. And Petracchi caught napping there.
Yeah, and he's taken a little bit extra curb, so he was frustrated by that, I think.
And Valencia... look at them all pushing off track there.
That was Benton, wasn't it? Going very wide?
Yeah, that was... it looked like Valencia, Valente, Benton, and Hood all going off track at the same part, just following each other. It's a follow the leader, really.
This is getting another intense one. But everyone who has taken the lead on the opening lap has gone on to win. That is insane.
Really shows if you can control the race and you stay out of trouble, and it's really very much to your advantage, even if you have got all that ballast that Hartley has got. Of course, much less having not done too well in race 2, of course.
Yep.
But Hartley once again sets best lap of the race. I think that the rain and letting everyone go on the soft tyres has really played to advantage, and it's really hurt.
It's
Remco
raining
Dizzy.
again.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
it
about to
started
say it's
raining.
getting darker.
Oh dear, 5% rain already then. And with 10 minutes to go, this could really throw things into chaos once more. The pack quite closely bunched together as actually Moynier says fastest lap down in 12th. Could the likes of Moynier and Smagascale and Ziola all go for wet tyres then?
Well, we must thank Nick Thanos Homewood for this amazing finale.
You can thank the R Factor 2 gods because I've turned it back onto random.
Oh, right.
Here we go.
Oh,
And look at
again.
this, Valencia now wants to go at Petravki. He's going to go round the outside at the chicane at Knickerbrook.
Keep it in, keep it in.
And Petravki is still going to be alongside as they exit here.
Go on. You've got the move. You've got the power. Up the inside.
You don't want to be side by side up here.
Here we go.
Oh, contact! Lay on the brakes. Just about gets through. They make contact again. They
They're
don't
through
go off the
Druid's
track.
corner. They go, and Valencia's through as Petravki takes more than enough curb that he needs. And now
Valente.
Valente wants to go. Valente's not hanging around. He's going to follow Valencia through
Oh, but he's
up
locked
the
up.
inside. This is really deep, and they just about managed to get it turned in. So the rain already starting to catch people out.
What's the percentage?
It is still 5%.
How have
That's-
you seen that?
It's on the timer screen at the very
Oh,
top.
yes, it is 5%.
It still says dry officially, but still raining.
It's
So
just enough to make it a little slippery.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's not the last. Oh, Dizu is the first to pit then for the wet tyres.
And Ziola. That's, I
Right.
think, early.
It is, but they sort of had to gamble, didn't they? The race had not gone Dizu's way up to that point, had it?
English
True.
is still behind Hood.
I can't
Well,
find out what film
Smagascale
it's on.
back into the top 11 then.
This is going to get another entertaining end.
But
Right now,
Petravki
they're
has
all
sort of
driving
been
position.
shuffled out of the podium now.
Schunemann
wonder-
is catching Hartley.
He is,
Yeah.
actually. That is surprising. Well, not that surprising because Truman hasn't got that much ballast, does he?
No, it's true.
He's actually got more than Louis, I think. He finished ahead of Louis in the last race.
Well, not a penalty.
Well, this is just a great performance then from Peter Schumann. Although I was thinking more of the championship ballast, but does
Oh,
that
yeah.
only apply to race
That's
one?
only quali in race 1, yeah.
Remco
Oh, and look at
Jesu,
Petravki nearly losing it on the curb there through the fast section at Druids.
those on the wet tyres are crawling. Renko Jesu was so slow coming through turn 1
Yeah,
on the
it's
driver
too
tracker.
early for that, I'd say.
Is he on the wet? It's saying softs on my screen, but I know it is wets, definitely.
Yeah, and it's on 5%
Ziola
still.
as well.
It's not even anything right now. 5% and 21.9 track temperature.
Ooh, Hartley
so it's
goes
nothing.
wide.
Oh, 2.2 seconds the gap in the lead. So Hartley under pressure then from Peter Schumann. So friendly competition between the Finovons. The Finovons, sorry.
Everyone is setting actual personal bests, so the track can't be that wet.
They're trying to
yet.
go as fast as they
Oh.
can before the rain really hits.
It's updated to wet on the timing tower.
Yeah,
it's
now
updated
could this
to wet.
really play into the hands of Adam Ziola and Remco Diziu? And surprisingly, Diziu actually must have made a mistake on the way out of the pits because Ziola got ahead of him there.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of time to make up in 7.5 minutes.
Don't think that's possible, even if everybody has to come into the pit lane.
Yeah,
It's like race 2.
Personal best first sector for Hartley, but Peter Schumann has still got the gap closed to 2.2 seconds. So also going quickly is Petravki, I think. He's throwing
Yeah.
some flames out the back of his car on the timer screen. And Moynier as well, actually. All three of them taking the timer screens alight.
Well, it's very similar to what happened in race 2 now. They can just take their time and be careful on the track, and it's all in control of Hartley, really. He's controlling how long this race lasts. Oh,
Yeah,
and
if-
again, wide.
We're still on 5% rain. If it gets worse, then it's going to be a really big decision time then for all of the top 10, essentially. Do they stay out and hope that the rain goes away or doesn't
fastest
get any
lap,
worse?
Hartley.
There we go. So at the moment, it's definitely worth staying out, isn't it?
Yeah, the track's not that wet at all.
Yeah, and you've got to wonder if the likes of Ziola and Dizzy might abandon and come back in, just at least so they can beat one another.
Yes. Because they're going to be lapped before too long.
Chris English's progress has been halted. He's been held up by Chris Hood and in fact dropped back to the tune of 2 seconds. So,
Let's see, does he have damage, I wonder?
He's doesn't look too bad as he goes a little bit wide at the exit
No,
turn
that looks
2.
fine.
Yeah, but I'm surprised that Chris Hood has been able to keep him behind. So this is a great performance by Chris Hood then so far.
Always is. He seems to be performing incredibly in this race. All weekend.
And Benton actually doing the better of the two gravel trap cars at the present moment, closing steadily on the back of Petravki.
You know, I've been commentating sports now for 3 years, and I still say all weekend when we've had multiple races. It's all evening, really.
All hour and a half.
Oh, and a
Yes.
mistake actually from Chris Hood going a little bit wide. As actually getting quite congested between Valencia and Valente once more as well.
Then
Just-
again, if we say that Chris English has been performing well for an hour and a half, some people would take that in a dirty route.
But anyway, continuing on, and 5.5 minutes left to go in this race. The rain still not really chucking it down. It's still at 5%, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to stay like that
It's
as well.
just a
actually.
drizzle, isn't it?
Yeah, nothing much.
Maybe it was too early for Remco Ziu and Adam Zela to pit then.
Well, after the mayhem of race 2, where literally Noah's Ark had to be deployed, I think we've been kind of okay with just a little bit of spatter. Well, never mind.
Oh dear, and there goes Petravki, who had been doing so well up to that point, and now takes out on the advertising hoardings, just going extremely wide at turn 2, and he rejoins just ahead of Chris Hood, is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
He is, yeah.
So,
English is now catching Hood.
another free position for Carl Benton, who continues his climb up the order.
I'm so...
Schumann has dropped off the back of Hartley, so Hartley's got things under control at the front, at least.
I wish English and Valencia were close together. I could make some really good Spanish Inquisition jokes.
Well, there's quite a few in between them now, including Petravki now.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, Remco Ziu's caught up to the back of Ziola, both on the wet tyres, and they're fighting for position. They're basically trying not to be lapped here at the moment on the wrong tyres, effectively, for the conditions.
I mean,
English
depending
is-
how slow
Yeah.
they are, they could play a part here if Louis can't get around them that easily.
Yeah,
That's
here
true.
comes English then, attacking Chris Hood. Goes
On the
got to
outside.
set him up for the final few corners, isn't he?
He'll get a better exit because Hood had to take a compromised entrance. So up the hill, English will have much more
Oh, and he
faster
gets
speed.
blocked off though. Look, he couldn't
Yeah.
go to the inside like he wanted to, and now Loic Moynier is starting to come back into play here a little bit. As off goes Petravki ahead of them. He was going really wide into turn 1 there.
That didn't sound
there you
good.
go.
Oh,
Yeah,
and he rejoins right alongside, and they both have to swerve in avoidance. And now Chris English, having
It's
gained
giving
one
him-
position, fancies another one here as well. Chris Hood looking very vulnerable.
I think English as well might be giving the one finger salute after Hood blocked him at Deer Leap as well. Can he get him into Island Bend?
No, I think
How-
that was legitimate
Yeah.
defense from Hood. I don't think Chris would be too
Oh, it's
upset
got
at
to
his
do-
namesake, especially if he can make it through here. Let's see what the attraction's like on exit. Remember, there's still a little bit of drizzle around. Chris Hood actually gets very good traction down off the corner, and Moynier now is starting to close on Petravki as well, just behind these
Valencia's
two.
now right behind Lua.
Oh, so Valencia's
power.
got things back under control.
This is a yellow
Yellow.
flag.
It's car 11, so it's Smaggersgale.
Yeah, so Smaggersgale struggling at the hairpin then, but still quite a long way away.
It's blowing a
ahead
gale
of,
out there.
Ahead of Remco and Adam.
It is and all, isn't it? Really struggling for weather.
Still 5%. It's not looking like it's changing too much.
English
But
went
the rain is still
wide.
coming down.
Yeah, English went wide. That's going to give
Oh, he's
a little
locked
bit
up.
of an advantage. Oh, yep.
Oh, wide. Go Chris Hood into the final corner. And that's going to allow Chris English. Let's see who gets the better exit. I think it's going to be Chris English. He's definitely going to have the inside.
Yeah, got him. Shut the door into turn 1. He's trying
Oh,
to.
need to be careful. Chris Hood's going to break really, really late here into turn 1.
He's out. He's
oh,
outdone
look
himself.
At the bravery there, but it didn't pay off. Off track he goes. And he's going to rejoin right in front of Maximilian Petravki and Loic Moynier.
Yeah, should have backed off then. I agree
Yeah,
with you.
definitely.
Oh, and look at this. Petravki backs off, and that allows Moynier to go right in the back of him.
Well, this isn't going to end well.
Here we go.
because
Into the hairpin they come. Chris Hood getting just about back up to speed now. Petravki, is he
He's
attacking
locked
or
up.
is he defending? He locks up
Bang.
very heavy. Barkers into the side. Moynier goes, thank you very much. I'll go the 2-for-1 special offer.
Yeah, that was very ambitious braking zones. You're not Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah.
Well, that was a typical. That's what we call.
I
a
think he's
Petravki
letting him
braking
through.
zone. And here comes, oh, there
He's
we
letting
go.
him
So a very fair play there from Maximilian Petravki, deciding to let them through there. His own race may have unravelled, but at least he tried to undo some of the damage there that he may have done to the side of Chris Hood's car.
You said it was a buy one, get one free. Well, I think you take those first words, and that's pretty much what just said to Prochaska as well.
And look at the gap Hartley's got on Schumann now, 7
Valencia.
seconds. But Valente and Valencia, the two Vs, still locked in a very close duel together. Valencia starting to look a little bit more vulnerable. Valente gaining in confidence now, but it's only a minute left of the race.
This is the last lap.
Hartley's got this sewn up, I think. Lua goes a little bit wide in a third ahead of them. And even wider goes Valencia, and this could be the opportunity for Alessandro Valente, Josh.
Yeah, he's trying to get through on the inside, down and towards. I think this will be Island Bend for an opportunity to overtake, get a good exit out of Dentons and Cascades. A little bit wide there from Valencia.
Not as wide as Lua ahead of them.
Yeah, he's really off the track, wasn't he? A lot of lockups there as well from Valencia. You can see, and he's made another mistake in the middle
Here
of the
comes
bump.
Valente. Into the side he goes. Who's going to get the best traction? I think it's going to be Valencia because he spent most of that corner not in the side of the guy in front of him. So here we go.
Yeah, he's blocked him off.
Yeah, it's going to be about setting him up, but Valente still keeps coming and has to be relent at the last second, but forces Valencia to compromise his braking. He's going to try and go through on the inside here. This is close. Over the curb he goes. They both almost spin. And Valencia somehow manages to eke ahead.
As English has lost out to Loic.
Oh, yeah.
There, and Moynier through. That's crucial for the championship then. Moynier through into 7th position.
Here comes Hartley then. Another flawless drive for the race leader, apart from the fact he's locked up.
But it's too late now. Nobody can catch him here in race 3. Beautiful start from Louis Hartley. And he wins race 3 in Oulton Park to extend his championship lead. And here comes Peter Schumer putting a lap down on Adam Ziola. So Dizu was able to just about stay on the lead
As
lap.
Benton has let English past.
So crucial Drivers' Championship shenanigans there. And that lets Moynier through as well into the top 6. So great news for Underbird Simulation. Gravel Trap have kind of snookered themselves here, but that was a great gesture nonetheless from Carl Benton. That's not the first time he's done that for Chris English as well. So there we go. And Dizu, the gamble didn't work, but he was down in 10th anyway. He wasn't really gaining positions, so he had to try something. In the end, the rain just didn't come, at least not in the quantity that he needed. Still 5% at the moment, actually, so it's not really changed at all. But,
well, gents, it's been fun, but I must vamoose out the back of the commentary box because some of these guys are going to hunt me down for what I said in the commentary.
Well, I'll see you on Saturday then.
Absolutely.
On Saturday morning then, Josh.
Can't wait.
You take care until then.
You too. See
Thank you,
both.
Josh. Bye-bye.
And I will see you on Saturday for the Hyderabad E-Prix. Bye-bye.
Very much. So a good little advert there for Josh's channel. So we've already got someone in the waiting room, but very, very briefly, if we can, Nick, let's go over
I've
the
got to
final.
wait for Remco to finish.
Oh, of course, because he wasn't lapped.
No.
There we go.
Oh,
So
wait, well, I'll
Remco
stay until he leaves
through
then,
the final
'cause-
corner then. And Remco, who was saying, I'm sorry I wasn't quite up there with the pace of my teammates. But I said, you know what, you still came 10th, you still got good points. And there we go, in 12th, he finishes the
Yay!
race. He gets vital points then for Hunter Burt Simulation.
Fantastic.
But it's Louis Hartley who wins for Finavon Motorsport Green to help with their tally. Peter Schumann for the
Bye,
other
guys.
Finavon.
Bye, Josh.
Bye, Josh. Peter Schumann takes, I think that's his first podium of the season, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, yeah, I think so.
It's a great drive from Peter Schumann for Finavond. There we go.
He's got lost.
That's Remco parking it up. I'm not even going to bother getting back to the pits then. 10 Lua takes another podium for Underbird Simulation. Mario Valencia takes 4th for Finavond Green. So great points for Finavond Green in races 1 and 3 at least. Alessandro Valente takes 5th in a very strong showing there for him. Loic Moynier is 6th with that late magnanimous gesture from Carl Benton, gifting 2 places. Chris English takes 7th after winning race 2, so a bit of a mixed bag day for Chris English. Chris Hood takes 9th. Maximilian Petravki rounds out the top 10 after battling with Chris Hood. Great performance from Chris Hood in his return to form in the number 13. Smaggersgale finishes in 11th, which is good for him. Remco Dizu and Adam Ziola round out the finishes after that gamble for the wet tyres didn't quite go their way. So, let's see if the Finavon drivers may want to talk to us then in the form of Louis Hartley and Mario Valencia, who join us now. So, here we go then. So, winner of race 3 and second place in race 1 for Louis Hartley, but winner in race 1 for Mario Valencia then. So, guys, let's start with you first, Louis. A pretty good day, all things considered. Race 2 didn't quite go to plan, but when the opportunities arose in races 1 and 3, you really rose to the challenge there.
Yeah, race 1 was an alright one. It was tricky keeping Loic behind because he seems to have so much pace on that. I'm guessing, was he on mediums?
Softs, he was on the mediums, yes, in race
yeah.
1.
That explains it, and lack of ballast. So luckily Mario was nice enough to slow down at the end, so we didn't have to do another lap because that saved me. I would have.
I did
wouldn't have
notice
stayed
that.
in P2. Yeah, race 2 not as good. I tapped the grass going through Druids, and then that lost me loads. And then a couple laps later, the 100-meter board.
You hit the wall.
The 100-meter board had been taken out there a few laps before that, so I just completely missed my braking point because I didn't know where to. And then made it even worse pitting way earlier than I should have for wets. But race 3 sort of bit of a redemption. That went a lot better.
Yeah, brilliant start in both races actually. In pretty much all the races, you got off the line really well, I think, Louis. You've really got the getaway nailed down. And in race 3, it was really just waiting for a chance to get past Remco, and then you didn't really have to worry about anything after that. And I think for Trafki, you beat off the line, didn't you?
Yeah, after that, I was just praying that the rain didn't get too much worse because luckily I'd ended up for like until the last 3 laps or something. It was you had as much grip as in the dry, and then those final 3 laps, it was getting quite wet. But I'm glad I didn't panic and pit for wets or something because I never would have made the time back.
Yeah, Remco did that. It didn't quite work for him, sadly. But still good points on the board. And he didn't get lapped at the end, which was the crucial thing. So that was nice of you, Louis. But anyway, congrats on extending I think net extending the championship lead. Or it might be roughly the way it was, because I don't think Chris English... Because Chris won race 2, but didn't finish very well in races 1 and 3. So sort of 7th and 8th, I think. So,
yeah, I remember seeing him going off in race 1. I didn't know he had a bad race 3, but I suppose that helps me. Good job for him winning race 2, though.
yeah, actually, Carl Benton was ahead, and he was ahead of Loic and Chris English, and he let both of them through because Loic was in the middle, so he had to let him through in order to help Chris in the Drivers' Championship. So I thought that was quite a nice gesture from Carl. I have to thank him when we eventually beat him in the Teams' Championship by 2 points or whatever it is.
Oh, look at this. It's good that teammates have been coming into it.
I think we're still about 120 points behind, so I'm not sure it's going to make all that difference. But we might only be 100 or 90 points behind.
Take the sandbags out for the next 2 rounds.
Because they only had 3 drivers in that one. Anyway, Mario has been waiting very patiently, and we should say congratulations, Mario, for your first win in EERC British Touring Cars. It was coming for a while, wasn't it? But qualifying, you got that lap in right at the end to beat Carl Benton, and then you just led from the front. You weren't really headed. And then races 2 and 3, a little bit more tricky, a bit more incident-packed, but you still got the best finish you could. And I know it's so annoying to lose out on the chance of the podium right at the end of race 2. I could tell you were closing on 10 Lure, and then you just made that mistake and got caught at the end. But let's talk about race 1 first, Mario.
Yes, thank you so much. The quality felt really good, getting the fastest lap on the very last attempt, and then race 1 felt even better. Just having a lot of pace, car feeling even nicer and nicer, and yeah, at the end I helped a bit hardly, just because when I saw the replay on YouTube, I saw it was just side by side on the straight, so that was really good. And then races 2 and 3. I had some fun at least. Not so good position, but the rain spiced it up a bit everything, so that's good.
Yeah, there was an incident with Chris Hood, wasn't there?
Oh,
in
yes.
Race 2?
Yes, I'm sorry for
where, that. Chris didn't sound too happy about that one. But, and
Yeah, I mean,
at least he's not my driver anymore, 'cause otherwise I might be angry at you too. But, but anyway, no matter there. And certainly you made some good moves in both races 2 and 3, actually.
Yeah, thank you for that.
I think race 3...
I didn't really know... Yeah, sorry?
I think race 3 you came 4th, didn't you? So you did beat Valente, who was pretty quick, wasn't he? He was reviewed the whole race.
Oh, you mean the guy behind? Like
in
the
the
guy
chicken
with the
nugget, orange
yeah,
guy,
yeah. I beat him. Yeah, I beat him at the end. I thought he was gonna overtake me because he has the Infinity, and I think the Infinity performed.
Oh no, the
a bit
Infinity
better.
is the green and the white one. That's 100 Birch.
Oh,
That's
he
my
didn't-
one.
He
So
had
in
the
race
Hyundai
2,
then.
you went off at the final corner because you were chasing 10 Lure. He was, I
Yes.
think, stayed
Oh,
out on the
man.
dries and went off several times and got really badly damaged and just about held
Yes.
on. And then all got a bit hectic at the end between you, Valente,
Yes.
and Loic Moynier. And Moynier told me afterwards that he was doing... I think he said something like, my headset died a few minutes into the race, so I couldn't hear anything from my car.
Ooh.
So that was amazing that he was able to just about catch up to you at the end.
Yeah, that's really good. It was mayhem on the straight, but yeah, sadly I thought I broke where I had to brake, but probably not. Maybe I got
Maybe you did a
little bit-
Louis and break
yeah, distracted or
where the
something.
marker board was supposed to be, and someone had knocked it off.
Yes, it was really hard. I had never driven on the wet with the BTCC cars, so I had no idea how they behaved, and it was horrible. It's like driving on ice, but it was fun.
There we go. You got
Overall.
through it now, and there's only a total of let's see, 6 more races left to go at Autopolis and Croft respectively. So they should be good tracks. And let's not forget, there's still you weren't that far behind going in the team's championship to Underbet Simulation. So getting those good finishes, that means you've closed. There's still a chance of nicking second from us in the team's championship.
Yeah, 1-2 on the team, on the driver championship would be good. Also, I think we went second on the team championship. We could get first, but I couldn't race for 3 races or 2 races because of
It's
university
amazing.
exams.
Louis had to do quite a lot of heavy lifting while you've been away. He's done a pretty good job, I think we'll all agree. But anyway,
I got 4 points at Thruxton as well.
I'm sure that will make all the difference against us.
When we beat you by 3 points.
Well, no, but because Carl Benton already gifted us 2 points today. So.
Well, if we beat you by 1 point, then.
Okay, well, anyway, I'm not really doing the maths on the top of my head, but we'll have to see how the next 6 races go. But in terms of 2 rounds of 6 races each, but 3 races each. Sorry, yeah, maths not a good strong suit. But anyway, thank you very much for talking to us, guys. Congrats, Mario, on your first win, and congrats, Louis, on I think that's win number 5 or 6 now.
Ooh.
I
forget
think
how
it's only 3. I got 2 at Bathurst, and I've had a lot of podiums, but I think this is only my 3rd.
Ah, it might be a 3rd. Okay, right.
Okay, I
But,
can
I'm
tell
sure
you.
there's more to come, judging by the way you've been driving.
I'd hope
And,
so.
I look forward to renewing that duel with Chris English, because it always seems to go a bit back and forth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, only 3rd.
Anyway, so I think that's about it, because no one else wants to talk to us. All my drivers have buggered off already. I don't think they even bother coming in here. I know Loic had had his headset fail on him, so I guess that's why he's not here. But the others don't have an excuse. But anyway, Nick, any final thoughts before we sign off?
I'm glad it wasn't as bad as East London.
Yeah, well, randomised weather certainly spiced things up a bit than what they would otherwise. Although I think Remco is probably ruining the rain because in both senses, because if he got the soft tire, if he got the option tires to race through that he'd arranged for, then he could have been at a distinct advantage. But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And still, everyone got to the end and scored points. So my team can't be too upset. This is a lot better than East London and Rockingham went for it. Rockingham was horrible for us. So. But anyway, we're only about 20 points behind going into Rockingham, and then afterwards now we're like 120 points behind or whatever. But yeah, the gaps can close and open up really, really quickly the way this works. But anyway, that's all we've really got for you from Oulton Park. That's where we've been. I almost forgot there.
I always say Oulton Towers.
I'm not sure that's too close, to be honest.
No, or the same thing at all, but hey.
No, you can't really get a British touring car in Oulton Towers. You do. Well, you might get in the car park, but that's about as far as you go. So we'll be back later in February on the 9th of... Oh, no, that's today.
23rd.
On the 23rd of February in Autopolis for the penultimate races, or group of races in Japan. So that promises to be a very, very exciting contest with a new track, a track that the touring cars don't often visit, actually, with a very fast-flowing first sector, but more technical second and third sectors. So that could go either way with the front-wheel drive and the rear-wheel drive cars. And then finally, the finale in Croft, which you will remember, of course, is on the 9th of March. And that's really when we're going to see the title decided, almost certainly, I think, between Louis Hartley, Chris English, Carl Benton, and, of course, the Teams Championship between Hunter Birch and Gravel Trap. And maybe
Finnevon Green if everything goes to plan for them. But from me, from Joshua Birch, Nick Homewood, and everyone here at EERC British Touring Cars, that's your lot. So we'll see you next time, and back soon for more exciting racing action in Autopolis. But thanks for joining us at Oulton Park and seeing Mario Valencia, Chris English, and Louis Hartley